What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. Chapter 036, 10 million points advertisement. Okay, now Uchiha from Class 1A has reached the final level and his true face is a huge minefield. This arrangement is very careful. As long as you observe carefully, you can find the location where the mines are buried. Use your eyes and feed to the fullest. What appeared in front of Uchiha Madara's eyes at this moment was a vast expanse of empty land. However, unlike other lands, there are many circular marks on this land. Present. Mike's voice continued to resound through the stadium. By the way, this kind of landmine is only for sports, and its power is not large, but the sound and explosion effect are absolutely shocking, and you will definitely be scared to pee. Hearing present Mike's words, Uchiha Madara smiled slightly. A landmine? Just fly over it? For Uchiha Madara, it was easy to fly, but for Bakugo Katsuki, it was definitely not realistic. Because in terms of the current strength of Bakugo Katsuki, it is still difficult to accurately control the blasting. Once one is not careful, the mine will explode. Then, Uchiha Madara tugged at his collar and smiled. I won the first place in the preliminaries. Pink Eye, stop for me. Uchiha. Behind Uchiha Madara, Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki rushed towards him almost side by side, their eyes full of fighting intent. Bye-bye. Uchiha Madara waved to the two of them, then bent his knees slightly, then exerted light force and lifted his feet off the ground. Am I right? Class 1A's classmate Uchiha is flying. From the stand, present. Mike looked at Uchiha Madara who was almost floating, with a ghostly appearance. Flying. Aizawa Shota, who was sitting next to present, Mike, didn't look any better. Hypnosis, blue skeleton, fire breathing, hyperspeed, flying. How many quirks does he have? Various requests. The next second after present, Mike's voice fell. Uchiha Madara walked slowly into the stadium and stepped into everyone's field of vision. Wow. Advertisement, this year's newcomer is amazing. Come on. The moment he walked into the stadium, Uchiha Madara was greeted by cheers from the crowd. 6 minutes and 10 seconds, this is the highest record in the Year 1 division of Shangin Academy, present. Mike's tone was quite excited, as if he was the one who won the first place. After half an hour, the other students of Shangin Academy finally came to the end, but their embarrassed appearance was in stark contrast to the neat and tidy Uchiha Madara. Hey, Madara, isn't your quirks hypnosis? How come you have so many? Yaoyorozu Momo blushed slightly, panting slightly. Did you bring any equipment? Well, secrecy. Uchiha Madara showed a mysterious smile. You'll know when the time comes. Cut. Hearing this, Yaoyorozu Momo turned his head and gave Uchiha Madara a dissatisfied look. Year 1, the first project is finally over, so let's see the final result. Midnight stood on the high platform and continued to act as the host. First place, 1A, Uchiha Madara. Second, 1A, Bakugo Katsuki. Third, 1A, Shoto Todoroki. Fourth, 1A, Izuku Green Valley. Fifth place, 1B, Shiotazaki. The sixth place, 1B, is made of bones. The top 42 passed the preliminaries. Although there are some regrets, the students who were eliminated are not discouraged. The school has also prepared other stages for you to show yourselves. Midnight on the high platform smiled slightly and licked his lips. The next step is to finally enter the main race. From now on, the media will also be crazy about your performance. Perform well. Okay, the second project, although I already know about it, it's still a matter of sale. What is it? Advertisement. As soon as the voice fell, it was him. Behind Midnight, the huge screen stopped scrolling. Battle on horseback. Various requests. Let me explain. The competition requires participants to freely form teams of 2 to 4 people to form horses. The rules of the horse riding battle are basically the same as the horse riding battles that you usually play. The only difference is each competitor will be given a point corresponding to the position achieved in the previous event. As soon as Midnight finished speaking, the big screen behind her scrolled again, finally showing rows of numbers. The points given are 5 points for each promotion from the back to the front, 5 points for the 42nd place, 10 points for the 41st place, and that's about it. And the score given to the first place before was 10 million. 10 million? Isn't it? Hearing Midnight's words, not only the contestants, but also the audience were a little stunned. If it's 10 million, isn't Madara a target? In the middle of the crowd, Yaoyorozu Momo's expression was a little strange. First place, forget it. A long sigh came from the crowd. I don't dare to mess with him. Before, he had clearly seen Uchiha Madara spewing huge flames from his mouth. If he got contaminated, he would probably lose half his life. Cut, coward. Bakugo Katsuki stared straight at Uchiha Madara. No matter what tricks he plays, in short, I want the points for the first place. Okay, everyone be quiet. Midnight, who was standing at the front, waved. I think you should already be clear at this moment. This is a life and death battle on the following grams, where the higher the ranking, the easier it is to be attacked. People who are progressive will be subjected to more severe tests. As long as you are in Heroes, you will hear this sentence countless times. That's plus ultra. Midnight waved his hand, pointing at Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara-kun. The first place in the preliminaries, you have been awarded 10 million points. Asterisk. Chapter 037. Kunai Throwing Technique Advertisement. Let me explain the rules of the horse riding battle. The time limit is 15 minutes. The sum of the points you have been assigned is the point of the entire horse. The riders have to put on the headscarves that indicate the horse's score, and the contestants have to snatch the headscarves of others before the time runs out, and finally decide the winner based on the points they hold. Snatched headscarves have to be worn above the neck, which means the more looting, the harder it is to manage. The last and most important point is that no matter if your turban is robbed or the warhorse falls apart, you will not be eliminated from the game. This is a tragic battle that allows the use of quirks in the game, but it is only a horse riding battle after all, and vicious attacks aimed at breaking the formation of the horses will be shown a red card and sent off the field directly. I'll give you 15 minutes to negotiate as a team, and the countdown starts. Let's form a team. On the playground, Yaoyorozu Momo walked up to Uchiha Madara and patted his shoulder lightly. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara nodded lightly. He originally planned to come to Yaoyorozu Momo to form a team, but next time it's just right, he doesn't need to go to the door to find it in person. By the way, can you help me make something? Until then, Uchiha Madara suddenly remembered something important. What? This? Uchiha Madara took out a notebook from his arms and handed it to Yaoyorozu Momo. Yaoyorozu Momo took the notebook from Uchiha Madara's hand, dumbfounded. What makes it so mysterious? You'll know when you open it. Uchiha Madara wiped the tip of her nose, feeling embarrassed. Driven by curiosity, Yaoyorozu Momo opened the notebook. On the notebook, a short sword was drawn. But to be precise, this is actually a kunai, and it is a small weapon that is often used by the legendary Neon Ninja. The size of the kunai and the materials for making it are marked on the notebook, and even the chemical equations that may be needed are equipped. Various requests. This is you? Yaoyorozu Momo's eyes at Uchiha Madara were full of doubts. Even if this battlesuit looks like a ninja, why even use a ninja as a weapon? Could it be that this guy really considers himself a ninja? How about it? Can you do it? Uchiha Madara looked at Yaoyorozu Momo with a faint expectation in her heart. It can be done. Yaoyorozu Momo closed the notebook in his hand and handed it back to Uchiha Madara. But, why do you want this? Uchiha Madara smiled slightly. Of course he was used to snatch the headscarf. Advertisement, using kuwu to grab a turban. Hearing Uchiha Madara's words, Yaoyorozu Momo covered his mouth and almost laughed out loud. Are your brains not broken? I'm serious, I'm not joking with you. Uchiha Madara stroked his forehead with one hand. Can't we be serious? Okay, I'll be more serious. Yaoyorozu Momo took a few deep breaths, and it took a long time to recover. Immediately, she closed her eyes, constantly recalling the contents recorded in Uchiha Madara's notebook in her mind. After a few seconds, Yaoyorozu Momo opened his eyes, took out a small iron kunai from his body, and handed it to Uchiha Madara. Is this okay? Uchiha Madara took the kunai, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Perfect. That's fine. How much do you want? Do as much as you can, only as much as possible. Uchiha Madara put the kunai in his pocket. I'll show you a great show later. Various requests, 15 minutes, whether it is long or short. At the moment when the countdown ends, there are already 12 groups of teams standing on the playground. The game entered the countdown stage, and the audience on the field was excited again. After receiving their own headscarf, Uchiha Madara made Yaoyorozu Momo sit on his shoulders and came to their place. Okay, everyone has formed a team, right? I won't ask you if you are ready for such stupid questions. How is it? Are you okay? Yaoyorozu Momo felt a little sorry for letting Uchiha Madara carry himself. After all, my weight. The full length is on the career line. Don't worry, there's absolutely no problem. The corner of Uchiha Madara's mouth curled slightly, as long as you provide me with enough kunai. Okay, let's begin. Let's count down to this brutal melee together. 3, 2, 1, start. Advertisement. Yeah, go. Catch number 1. At the beginning of the game, most of the people went towards Uchiha Madara and Yaoyorozu Momo, and the battle was quite terrifying. Looking at the crowd rushing towards him, the corner of Uchiha Madara's mouth rose slightly, and 10 kunai appeared in his hand. 100. Uchiha Madara stared ahead and said without looking back. What? Hurry up. What? Whoosh. The moment Uchiha Madara's voice fell, his wrist was slightly forced, and 10 kunai shot out in an instant. What? Wow, it's a knife. Is this a foul? Help. The students who were planning to use quirks to fight looked at kunai, who was shooting at them quickly and flashing silver, and they were all scared to death. Is this so sick? Is this to kill? Kunai's speed was very fast, and almost only a shadow could be seen, so that everyone had no time to react and avoid. Everyone could only helplessly watch the glistening kuwu getting closer and closer to them, but there was nothing they could do. Tokiyami Fumikage subconsciously let the black shadow block in front of him, but the speed of the black shadow coming forward was not as fast as the speed of kunai flying. In front, Uchiha Madara's knees were slightly bent, and then suddenly he jumped into the air, jumping over the people in front one by one. At the same time, Kunwu brushed past everyone's turbans at an extremely tricky angle, and even took the turbans off their heads. When Uchiha Madara crossed the crowd and fell to the ground, the 10 kunai that had been shot by him had returned to his hands. And what came to him with kunai? There were 10 headscarves with different scores. Asterisk. Chapter 038. Game over. Advertisement. PS. Dear readers, if I insert one punch man in the middle, can you accept it? Various requests. Wow. This sudden situation made Yaoyorozu Momo subconsciously put his arms around Uchiha Madara's neck, closed his eyes and shouted. What the hell are you doing? Yaoyorozu Momo opened one eye and blamed after making sure there was no more turbulence around. However, when she saw the kunai and turban on Uchiha Madara's hand, she was speechless for a moment. This. Yaoyorozu Momo rubbed his eyes. After confirming that he read it correctly, he looked shocked. How did you do it? My god, it's Uchiha from Class 1A again, from the stand, present. Mike exclaimed, my god, he actually won 10 turbans in an instant. The other students are stunned. What's wrong? Get moving. Hey, are you going to kill us? Bakugo Katsuki turned to look directly at Uchiha Madara, eyes almost spitting fire. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara asked back, have I defeated your horse formation? As long as the attack is not aimed at breaking the formation of the horses, there is no foul. Uchiha Madara interrupted Bakugo Katsuki's words and bowed slightly. I said, Bakugo, are you afraid? Who's afraid of you? Bakugo Katsuki's anger rose when he heard Uchiha Madara's words. You wait for me, I will definitely kill you. Hey Uchiha. On the other hand, Hitoshi Shinso touched the place where he was wearing the hijab just now, and said with a blank face, it's very malicious. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara smiled lightly, and handed Yaoyorozu Momo the turban in his hand. No bird would catch him, that purple-haired guy, don't answer when he talks to you. Why? Yaoyorozu Momo took the turban from Uchiha Madara's hand and asked inexplicably. This guy's quirks are brainwashed, he can control each other's body through language, and if he reacts to what he says when he uses his quirks, he will be controlled by him. Various requests, advertisement, is that so? Yaoyorozu Momo tied the turban and nodded suspiciously, you know a lot. ... You can't go on like this. Green Valley Izuku stood at the back with a solemn expression. In terms of strength, he was no match for Uchiha Madara until the full master's own quirks, and the same goes for speed and agility. The only possible way to defeat him is to take the opportunity to take the turban on Yaoyorozu Momo's head by surprise. I have a plan. Midoriya Izuku, who was dragged by Uraraka Ochako, Tokiyami Fumikage, and Hatsume Mei, lowered his body and whispered in the ears of the three. Some of the people present did not intend to entangle with Uchiha Madara, but now that he came out and grabbed 10 turbans in an instant, then everything became different. Other people's headscarves are gone. Who are they going to steal? Just bite the bullet and go grab Uchiha Madara's. This move by Uchiha Madara made him the target of all the criticism. At this moment, he and Yaoyorozu Momo were surrounded by 8 groups of horses. At first glance, there was no way out. Let's go together. I don't believe he has 3 heads and 6 arms. The members of Class B who didn't know Uchiha Madara planned to use the crowd tactics, so they agreed to the outside world first, and ignored the rest. 42 people, except for the 2 of us and the 10 turbans we grabbed just now. There are still 30 turbans left. The corner of Uchiha Madara's mouth rose slightly. Hurry up. Come back. Hearing this, Yaoyorozu Momo hugged Uchiha Madara with a look of lingering fears. Take it easy, I get motion sickness. Don't worry, it's over soon. Uchiha Madara's eyes closed slightly, then opened again. The 3 black Guyu slowly rotated in the scarlet pupils, and everything in front of him became extremely clear. Various requests, the movements of the 40 people in front of him slowed down infinitely in Uchiha Madara's eyes. Uchiha Madara's wrists exerted force, and kunai flashed coldly towards the crowd. The target was naturally the headscarf on their heads. Whoosh! Advertisement. Whoosh, whoosh! Kunai shuttled back and forth in the arena. The figures of Uchiha Madara and Yaoyorozu Momo kept flickering, leaving only afterimages that were hard to see with the naked eye. Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki, who were powerful in attack, were immediately stunned, looking at the afterimages going back and forth on the field, unable to start. Never mind. Bakugo Katsuki tugged at his own collar, and the flames in his hands burst out. If you can't hit it, then fight it. Boom! A huge flame spread out around Bakugo Katsuki, but it was well controlled. Even if the flames hit people around, it won't cause them much damage. After a few seconds, the flames dissipated and the ground was filled with kunai, and Uchiha Madara stood on the edge of the field carrying Yaoyorozu Momo, 30 turbans in her hands. When did he take my turban off? My god, is he a ghost? In the stands, present, Mike no longer knows what words to use to describe Uchiha Madara. Shongying Academy has been established for so many years, and such a situation has never occurred. Green Valley Izuku touched his bald forehead, and the corner of his mouth twitched a few times. His battle plan doesn't seem to be of much use. Everyone, the game is over. The corners of Uchiha Madara's mouth rose and her forehead was slightly raised, giving people a very tugging feeling. It's not over. Bakugo Katsuki was the first to jump out of the crowd. Didn't you see that there are still more than 10 minutes? Then you can just stand there in your heart for more than 10 minutes. As he spoke, the 3 hooks in Uchiha Madara's eyes were connected to form a closed circle. The chakra condensed, and an invisible wave of air emanated from Uchiha Madara, with ripples. Except for Yaoyorozu Momo, everyone's eyes lost their original light at the same moment, and their eyes became dull, as if they had lost their minds and stood motionless. Asterisk. Chapter 039. 11 groups tied for second place advertisement. OMG. Present. Mike brushed his hair with one hand and sighed. Uchiha Madara from Class 1A actually got everyone's headscarf? He's definitely the most heroic person ever, present. Mike slumped on the window in front of the stands, and Uchiha-san also incapacitated everyone at the same time. What a feat! At the same time, the auditorium stirred up again. What the hell are his quirks? Probably composite quirks, who knows? Interesting. Andre stared at the figure below without blinking, with one hand on his knee. I just don't know what his actual combat ability is. But, Andre turned his gaze to Shoto Todoroki, whose eyes were dull, and frowned slightly. His son didn't seem to be doing very well. Even if you didn't get the first place in the qualifiers, you were instantly killed by others even in the horse riding battle? Did you hypnosis them all? On the field, Yaoyorozu Momo looked at the people who were standing still. His eyes were full of shock. Although she had seen Uchiha Madara's abilities during the USJ incident, she was still shocked to see it again. The corners of Uchiha Madara's mouth twitched slightly, and she raised her head proudly. How about it? I'll say it's over soon, right? However, if you do this, I won't have the chance to perform. Yaoyorozu Momo spread his hands helplessly. I also hope to impress the professional hero, S, at the sports festival. No, is it possible that you are going to be a professional hero, S, in the future? Uchiha Madara tilted his head slightly. Aren't you going to inherit the family property? Cut. You take care of me. Advertisement. This. Midnight, the referee of this match, twitched the corner of his mouth lightly. It's not a red card, and it's not a red card. Uchiha Madara didn't break the rules, so Midnight wouldn't give him a red card, but with the current situation, it's impossible to continue the game. Various requests, 10 minutes passed in a flash, and at the moment when the end bell rang, Uchiha Madara also released everyone from the illusion. Come on. Kaminari Denki didn't know what he had experienced in the illusion, and the moment he woke up, he suddenly shouted, which startled everyone. On the high platform, Midnight caressed his forehead helplessly. Okay, this competition is over, and the next one is an hour's lunch break. Competition is over? When did it end? Isn't there 10 minutes left? Hearing this, everyone was puzzled, and it was not until they saw the countdown on the big screen behind Midnight that they finally reacted. Isn't it? Damn it, when did it get cleared? Didn't I grab the hood? There were bursts of mourning on the field, and Minoru Mineta of Class B even burst into tears, looking quite exaggerated. I remember. I seem to have seen a pair of red eyes. Behind, Green Valley Izuku covered his head, his eyes widened. Immediately, he slowly raised his head and looked at Uchiha Madara not far away. Advertisement. I don't even realize that I'm in an illusion. Uchiha's quirks are really scary. Green Valley Izuku shook his head vigorously, his eyes firm. No, we must find a way to crack it. Pink eye. Once again by hypnosis, Bakugo Katsuki really was about to explode, but he couldn't find a way to deal with Uchiha Madara. Hitoshi Shinso, who made a lot of nonsense before, was also confused. Like everyone else, he didn't know when he was hypnosis. The situation is a bit chaotic, so even though Midnight has announced a lunch break, no one has left. Everyone's headscarves were robbed by Uchiha Madara alone. Shoto Todoroki looked at Uchiha Madara with gloomy eyes. This guy. Shoto Todoroki narrowed his eyes slightly and clenched his fists involuntarily. Various requests, at 12 noon, teachers of Shongying College rest area. Let's think of a way. Playoff. Noon Yoruichi sat on the chair with his buttocks up, cocked Erlang's legs with a helpless expression. I've been a teacher for so many years, and this is the first time I've encountered such a situation. According to the rules, the top 4 members in the riding battle will advance to the next round. But now all the points are taken by Uchiha Madara alone, which means that the rest of the group is all second place. It is unheard of for the 11 groups to be tied. But what's the matter with that Uchiha Madara? Midnight leaned back on the chair and tilted his head. Quirks doesn't match the record, isn't he afraid of trouble? Maybe he thinks Hung Ying will help him sort this out. Aizawa Shota pulled out a stool and sat down beside Midnight with an expressionless face. Anyway, let's settle the sports festival first. At this moment, All Might suddenly stood up. Since the members of the 11 groups are tied, let's play extra games. Do you have any opinions? No comment. I agree. Okay, then it's decided. Midnight put down Erlang's legs, stood up, and walked away quickly. I'll go eat first. Asterisk. Chapter 040. Extra match. Tear brand name advertisement. At noon, when he came to the cafeteria, Uchiha Madara felt that everyone's eyes were looking at him intentionally or unintentionally. Most of them were from other classes, including Bakugo Katsuki and Hitoshi Shinso, whose eyes were full of hostility. Yaoyorozu Momo beside him also noticed the eyes of the people around him. Don't worry about them, let's go eat first. Yes. Uchiha Madara nodded. Yo, Uchiha boy, Yaoyorozu Million Girl. Just when Uchiha Madara and Yaoyorozu Momo had just finished their meal and sat down on the chairs, All Might appeared in front of them without warning and smiling. Yaoyorozu Momo's hands were shaking, as if he was a little frightened, and almost spilled the juice on the tray. Oh, All Might? Hello Yaoyorozu 10,000 girls. All Might waved at Yaoyorozu Momo, revealing 8 big white fangs. Can I sit here? It was only then that Yaoyorozu Momo saw the pork chop rice in All Might's hands and couldn't help but nodded. Well, please take a seat. Congratulations on winning the first place in the riding battle. All Might smiled and extended his right thumb, his eyes full of sincerity. Thank you. Yaoyorozu Momo nodded lightly, but should we cause trouble for others? Well, how do you say this? Hearing this, All Might stopped what he was doing and looked at Yaoyorozu Momo suspiciously. Everyone except us is in second place. I'm afraid there will be a playoff. Yaoyorozu Momo pouted. Don't think so. All Might patted Yaoyorozu Momo's shoulder lightly. It's because of your hard work. It's Madara. Cough. It's Uchiha classmate that we can get the first place. Realizing that he seemed to have said something wrong, Yaoyorozu Momo's face was a little red. You did a lot too. Uchiha Madara, who was sitting beside Yaoyorozu Momo, gave her a smile. If it wasn't for your kunai, I wouldn't have been able to grab their headscarf in such a short time. Advertisement, although I do have a way. Uchiha Madara thought silently in her heart. Various requests, but boy Uchiha, I'm afraid you're in big trouble. At this moment, All Might finally got to the point. What's the big trouble? Hearing this, Uchiha Madara asked subconsciously. Your quirks problem. All Might flipped the chopsticks in his hands and took a bite of the crispy pork chops, earnestly. What happened to my quirks? Uchiha Madara knew what All Might have to say next, but he asked knowingly. After the sports festival, the professional hero, will send invitations to students they like, but if the students' quirks don't match the record, there will be credibility issues, Uchiha Madara said. This is just one of them. All Might patted Uchiha Madara on the shoulder, but I think it's better for you to go to the police station as soon as possible to modify your quirks file. Speaking of which, All Might suddenly stepped forward and whispered in Uchiha Madara's ear, I'll take care of the trouble for you. Huh? Uchiha Madara blinked, looking at All Might with a look of surprise. Did this guy take the wrong medicine? Shouldn't he be following Green Valley Izuku? At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, all the contestants of Year 1 gathered on the stadium again. Midnight stood in front, still in sexy attire, except for the Uchiha group, the other members will play an extra round. Advertisement, cut. I knew. Bakugo Katsuki pouted in dissatisfaction and turned his head to the side. Better out of sight than out of sight, he now wants to get mad when he sees Uchiha Madara. As for the content of the extra match, Midnight raised his charming lips, leaving a mysterious smile. While speaking, the huge screen behind her scrolled again. Various requests, everyone in the audience, good afternoon, from the stand, present, Mike said in a rather exaggerated tone. This year is the most special year since the establishment of the Shangying Sports Festival, because today, 11 groups of players are tied for second place. The big screens around the stadium swept across the resolute faces of everyone, igniting the atmosphere of the scene again. So, we're going to play an extra game next, present. Mike cleared his throat, what's going on next is a brand new match. The students are free to form a team, and both sides can use sports warfare or head-to-head combat without hurting the other side, and tear off the nameplate on the other side's back. The game is limited to 15 minutes, and the evaluation standard is the number of famous cards in each team's hands. Peeved. Tear up the brand name. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara couldn't help laughing out loud, isn't this a Running Man? Tear the brand name? I've never heard of such a competition. Yaoyorozu Momo on the side lowered his head and pondered. Free combat, using sports combat or head-to-head combat, at first glance is similar to the previous horse riding combat, but it actually tests the team's ability to cooperate. Tokiyami Fumikage analyzed. The freedom has increased, and the difficulty has also increased unknowingly. Ida said with a straight face, it's really a challenging game. Uchiha and Yaoyorozu won, please move to the rest area. As for the other students, you have 15 minutes of free time to form a team. On the high stage, Midnight put his hands on his hips and brushed his fingers over the mask on his face. Everyone, get ready for a new challenge, asterisk. Chapter 041. The eve of the finals advertisement. The rest area of the players is a separate room with a large screen in front of it, and the screen plays the real-time picture of the game. Yaoyorozu Momo got a bunch of snacks out of nowhere, all over the table, and all of them are high-calorie foods. Milk tea, cake, biscuits, chocolate, whichever has higher calories. But it's no wonder, after all, when she uses quirks, she consumes her own fat and must be replenished in time. Do you want it? Yaoyorozu Momo opened a box of cream cakes and put it in front of Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara shook his head, the corner of his mouth twitched slightly. I just finished eating, can you eat so much? Well, the next round is about to start, I have to stock up. Yaoyorozu Momo stuffed the cake all over his mouth, and even had cream on his chin. Uchiha Madara raised her hand to wipe off the cream from her chin, somewhat dumbfounded. Eat slowly, and no one will snatch it from you. It's only half an hour at most, I have to hurry up. While speaking, Yaoyorozu Momo filled his mouth with cookies and chocolate. While Uchiha Madara and Yaoyorozu Momo were resting in the rest area, the game outside was in full swing. Without the restrictions of the fixed formation of the previous horse riding battle, the situation at the scene became many times more intense than before, and it could even be described as tragic. Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki, as the destroyers of this competition, stunned the entire competition venue and destroyed nearly half of it. 15 minutes later, the famous brand battle finally came to an end, and when Midnight announced the end of the game, everyone lay on the ground, out of breath. Uchiha Madara, Yaoyorozu Momo. At the end of the game, a staff member in uniform came to the rest area and tapped on the door of the rest area. Advertisement, what's up? The famous brand battle is over, please go to the competition venue for the next round. Understood. Various requests, after everyone came to the playground and stopped, the voice of present Mike sounded again in the stadium. Well, it's finally time to announce the last project. Before that, I have good news to tell the students who were eliminated in the qualifiers. After all, this is a sports festival, so the school has already prepared entertainment programs that everyone can participate in. And we also invited professional women's cheerleading teams from the United States to heat up the atmosphere. Come on, students, let's have fun participating in entertainment projects. After the entertainment event is over, there will be a one-on-one actual knockout match with a total of 14 players from the 4 teams that advance to the final event. Is the final project a one-on-one knockout match? In the crowd, Kirishima Eijiro's eyes were full of anticipation. I'm going to stand on the stage that I see on TV every year. I remember. It was also a knockout system last year, right? Ashido Mina looked at everyone suspiciously. Although the format is different, every year the final is a one-on-one competition, explained Shiro Honda. I remember last year it was supposed to be an inflatable soft sword fight. Okay, let's draw lots to decide the battle group. Midnight took a box out of nowhere and put it on the small platform with raised qualifications in front. After everyone has been divided into groups and participated in the entertainment program, the final will officially begin. The 14 students who have advanced to the final can decide whether to participate in the entertainment program or not. After all, some people will want to take this opportunity to take a break or save their energy. Then, let's start with the number 1 squad, advertisement. Various requests. Most of the members of Class A who advanced to the finals this time are: First place, Uchiha Madara, Yaoyorozu Momo. Second place, Shoto Todoroki, Ida, Kirishima Ejiro, Ashido Mina. Third place, Izuku Midori, Uraraka Ochako, Tokiyami Fumikage, Hatsume Mei. Fourth place, Bakugo Katsuki, Shiozaki, Hitoshi Shinso, Shiro Honda. Soon, the lottery was over, and everyone already had their own opponents. And this time Uchiha Madara's opponent is Kirishima Ejiro. Okay, then let's put the knockout games aside for now. Now is entertainment time. Let's enjoy the pleasant entertainment to the fullest. Present. Mike's voice resounded throughout the stadium once again. Uchiha Madara did not participate in the so-called entertainment projects, but stayed in the lounge and slept. With him are Izuku Green Valley and Yaoyorozu Momo. Yaoyorozu Momo was sitting next to Uchiha Madara, eating the cake on the table in small bites. Green Valley Izuku has a black line on his face, as if he is going to a funeral. Time passed minute by minute, and it was finally time for the finals. 2 hours were spent on entertainment projects, and the teacher of Shongying Academy, the cement division, also took advantage of this time to build the arena that the students needed for the finals. Chapter 042. Madarav's Kirishima Ejiro advertisement. After so many projects, the most attractive thing is really this actual battle, and I can only rely on my own strength. Even if it's not heroes, this kind of situation often happens in life. Everyone should have experienced it, right? Mobilize all your will, skills, body, wisdom and knowledge to sprint upwards. Viewers, your long-awaited final project is finally about to begin, the first round. Izuku versus Hitoshi Shinso. The rules are very simple. They completely adopt the actual combat rules that make the opponent fall out of the field, lose their ability to act, or force them to take the initiative to say, I admit defeat, to win. There is no need to be afraid of injury, because we have recovery girls on the sidelines at all times. Let's put aside the shackles of morals and ethics for the time being. But of course, a move that endangers the opponent's life will result in a serious foul and will be disqualified on the spot, because heroes will only do his best to capture villains. When someone fouls, I will stop it. The cement division sat on a chair outside the field and acted as a referee. It's a foul to endanger the opponent's life, and you're disqualified on the spot? Uchiha Madara frowned slightly when he heard Mike's words. So what's the point of that? Sure enough, heroes is a rather boring profession. Various requests on the field. Izuku Midori and Hitoshi Shinso stood on the edgelines on both sides, all with solemn expressions. Heroes Division Green Valley versus General Division Shinkao, the game. Start. With the referee's order, the game officially started. However, just after the start of the game, Midoriya Izuku was forced into a state of brainwashing by answering Hitoshi Shinso's words. Fortunately, his will was strong enough, and with the help of the inheritors of all, Green Valley Izuku escaped from the brainwashing state and successfully advanced. Advertisement in the second round. Heroes Division Shoto Todoroki played Heroes Division Ashido Mina. The result is obvious, because of that D father, Shoto Todoroki, who was in anger at the moment, directly killed Ashido Mina, without showing any mercy because the other party was a girl. Due to the outbreak of Shoto Todoroki, a lot of ice cubes were left at the scene, and the temperature was quite low for a time, which made people tremble. It's really violent. Shiro Honda's mouth twitched a few times in the contestants' audience. It's too much for a girl, isn't it? Yaoyorozu Momo, who was also a girl, looked at Shoto Todoroki below with dissatisfaction, not a gentleman at all. If he looks like this, he will never find a girlfriend. Ida, who was on the side, raised the glasses on the bridge of his nose and said solemnly. Really powerful quirks. Present. Mike's voice sounded again. Then next, let's have our third round contestant. Heroes Section Uchiha Madara, against Heroes Section Kirishima Ejiro. I'll go first. Hearing his name, Uchiha Madara casually tidied up his clothes and walked quickly towards the playing field. Come on. Behind Uchiha Madara, Yaoyorozu Momo clenched his fist with one hand, looking like he was winning, obviously full of confidence in him. Kindness. Various requests. During the time Uchiha Madara walked to the competition venue. Present. Mike continued to explain. First in the entrance test, first in the preliminaries, first in the riding battle. I wonder if Uchiha will be able to win the championship? Whether this new rising star can go all the way to the end, let's wait and see. Wow. I'm not going to be eliminated as soon as I come up, right? On the field, Kirishima Ejiro stared at Uchiha Madara's eyes for a long time, and didn't look away for a long time. What are you looking at? Uchiha Madara was a little flustered by what he saw, and couldn't help but ask back. Uchiha, I'm not going to be hypnosis by you as soon as I come, right? Kirishima Ejiro, who has seen the power of hypnosis, said with a cowardly face, I don't want to be out of the game without any performance. Advertisement, this. Uchiha Madara blinked, don't worry, I didn't plan to use hypnosis in the finals. That's good. Kirishima Ejiro breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing Uchiha Madara's words. If I use hypnosis, you will be eliminated as soon as you come up, so what's the point of this game? Kirishima Ejiro's mouth twitched, and he had no way to refute Uchiha Madara's words. After all, he had seen Uchiha Madara breathe fire with his own eyes. Okay, take your place, the game. Start. As the voice of present Mike fell, Kirishima Ejiro immediately hardened his entire body and rushed towards Uchiha Madara. You're good at long range, so what about melee capability? Kirishima Ejiro's mouth was slightly upturned, and a drop of cold sweat dripped from his forehead. He's betting that Uchiha Madara's melee abilities are nowhere near as good as his long-range abilities. Looking at Kirishima Ejiro who was approaching him quickly, the corner of Uchiha Madara's mouth twitched slightly, that's a little interesting. Bah! Without any warning, Uchiha Madara suddenly punched Kirishima Ejiro in the stomach, throwing him a long way. How is that possible? After rolling around for several times, Kirishima Ejiro finally stopped at the edge and looked at Uchiha Madara in shock. Just now, he didn't see clearly how Uchiha Madara punched. All he saw was a black afterimage that was difficult to see with the naked eye. When, in the stands, seeing this scene, All Might couldn't help standing up, also shocked. Because, as a melee hero, he also didn't see the action of Uchiha Madara's punch just now. Asterisk. Chapter 043. Two Fists set the tone advertisement. This. How can he knock people out so far? Just how powerful is he? It's a pity, just a little bit, he can beat the other party out. Don't his quirks breathe fire? I heard his quirks were hypnosis. There was a commotion in the audience, only Endeavor stared solemnly at the slightly thin figure on the field. He did it on purpose. Endeavor's brows were furrowed, and he could naturally see that Uchiha Madara's punch just now didn't use all his strength. Just don't know why Uchiha Madara did this. What does he want to do? Just a little bit, Kirishima Ejiro will be eliminated, present. Mike continued to explain, the scene just now was too thrilling. Is it too exaggerated? On the court, Kirishima Ejiro seemed to feel his heart skip a few beats. What on earth did you eat to grow up with so much strength? Kirishima Ejiro touched the dust on his face, and an unpleasant feeling lingered in his heart. It's quite durable. Uchiha Madara blew his right fist, then can you catch the next blow? Hey. Kirishima Ejiro couldn't help but take a half step back, getting closer to the edgeline. What are you doing? Try how hard you are. As soon as Uchiha Madara finished speaking, his body disappeared again, and appeared next to Kirishima Ejiro. Kirishima Ejiro's pupils contracted slightly, and instinctively hardened his whole body, but he couldn't react at all. He could only watch Uchiha Madara's fist getting closer and closer to him. Various requests, boom. A loud bang swept across the stadium, sending a huge cloud of dust around, and the ground seemed to be shaking because of Uchiha Madara's punch. Advertisement, not good. The cement division suddenly stood up from the chair, then squatted down, and a large piece of cement poured out of his hands. At the same time, the dust slowly dissipated, and Uchiha Madara maintained a half-squatting position in the center of the playing field, and his right fist came into zero-distance contact with the ground. Where Uchiha Madara's right fist landed a huge pit, estimated to be several meters deep, brought both him and Kirishima Ejiro below the horizon. Kirishima Ejiro lay down beside Uchiha Madara, trembling all over his body, his teeth chattering especially clearly. Huh? Cement secretary on the side was stunned. With such a large-scale attack, Kirishima Ejiro didn't get hurt? I admit defeat. Kirishima Ejiro raised a hand, tears welling in his eyes, a constipated expression. He was really scared to pee just now. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara was a little surprised. He stood up slowly. Is this a loss? If I don't admit defeat, I will die. Kirishima Ejiro closed his eyes and shouted loudly, do you want to be so cruel? It took less than a second for Uchiha Madara's figure to disappear and a huge crater appeared on the ground. And all Uchiha Madara did was kick Kirishima Ejiro into the middle of the field and punch him in the ear. Uchiha Madara rolled his eyes to the sky, turned around, waved his hands without looking back, and walked towards the lounge. The winner of the third round, Uchiha Madara. After a few seconds, present. Mike's voice sounded again. Various requests, oh. Come on. There was another commotion in the audience, some cheering for Uchiha Madara and others for Kirishima Ejiro. When passing Yayorozu Momo, Uchiha Madara stopped and smiled. The next game will be yours, come on. Don't worry, I will definitely win. Yayorozu Momo raised his charming lips and clenched his fist with one hand, confident. Advertisement. In the fourth round, Hero S. Branch Yayorozu Momo faced Hero S. Branch Tokiyami Fumikage. Although Yayorozu Momo was well prepared before the match, her quirks still had the most disadvantage against Tokiyami Fumikage's quirks. In addition, Yayorozu Momo still has a lot of shortcomings, so this round ended with Tokiyami Fumikage winning. In the fifth round, Hero S. Division Shiozaki met Hero S. Division Zero Honda. Shiozaki's quirks are vines, and Zero Honda's quirks are tapes. Looking closely, their quirks are actually very similar. The only difference is gender. In terms of power, Zero Honda was obviously stronger than Shiozaki, and after nearly 20 minutes of competition, Zero Honda won the final victory. In the 6th round, Hero S. Ida played against auxiliary Hatsume Mei. However, this is not so much a competition as it is a special event where Hatsume Mei recommends his own products. Ida is completely reduced to Hatsume Mei's exclusive model. In more than half an hour, Hatsume Mei introduced nearly 100 products before giving up. And the final result, of course, Ida won. After all, Hatsume Mei's purpose has been achieved, there is no need to stay. In the 7th round, Hero S. Division Uraraka Ochako faces Hero S. Division Bakugo Katsuki. It's a fight with almost no suspense. Bakugo Katsuki rolled all the way, and Uraraka Ochako used his wits to swirl around the field with Bakugo Katsuki. Although she lost the game in the end, she won a lot of hearts. In the first round, 7 people won the final. They are Green Valley Izuku, Uchiha Madara, Tokiyami Fumikage, Shiro Honda, Ida, Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki. Asterisk. Chapter 044. Madarav's Green Valley Izuku advertisement. Impossible, 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 impossible. In a dark room, Tamura Shigaraki stared at Uchiha Madara's figure on the TV with bloodshot eyes. Impossible, absolutely impossible, how could he have so many quirks? Tamura Shigaraki's eyes widened. Isn't it the same as a teacher? Shikakumu, keep an eye on him. A slightly dull voice came from the darkness, and Izuku Green Valley. However, this Uchiha Madara can find a way to win him over. According to Tamura Shigaraki's various descriptions of Uchiha Madara before, he can feel that Uchiha Madara is by no means good. Uchiha Madara, he is a deeply buried dark seed that quickly sprouts with a little irrigation. But at the same time, he is also a time bomb that does not know when it will explode. Deadwood, don't touch Uchiha Madara lightly until you find his weakness. His teacher. Maybe. His quirks are about the same as mine. In the darkness, a man dressed in black gang-like clothes, with his arms exposed, and an industrial mask on his face thought to himself. The exciting first round is over, let's see who the winners are. Present. Mike's voice echoed throughout the stadium. Izuku Midoriya, Uchiha Madara, Tokiyami Fumikage, Shiro Honda, Ida, Bakugo Katsuki, Shoto Todoroki. All of them are from Class A. Present. Mike stood up. What a bunch of terrifying monsters. While present, Mike was speaking, Uchiha Madara and everyone walked to the center of the venue and stood there, waiting for Midnight's next words. Everyone must have seen that this year's sports festival is a bit special. Midnight put one hand on his hips. 7 people, which means that one person will be by and directly advance to the next round of competition. Advertisement, he, who will be the lucky one, Midnight said, with a mysterious smile, and took out a large box from behind. There are a total of 7 balls in it. You take out 1 ball at the same time, and the one who gets the black ball is the lucky one this time. Various requests, if you draw lots at the same time, the chances of getting a black ball are the same. Ida raised her eyes on the bridge of her nose. Although I can directly advance to the next round, I have one less chance to perform in front of professional hero, S. Tokiyami Fumikage walked forward with a blank expression. I hope it's not me who has the bye. Okay, everyone take their places and stand beside me. Midnight commanded in an orderly manner on the high platform. I count 3 times, and everyone takes out a ball at the same time. There is no objection, right? No. Then. Midnight took a step back and vacated the position in front of him, his charming lips slightly raised. 3, 2, 1. Looking at the black ball in his hand, Tokiyami Fumikage felt that his head seemed to be blank for a moment. Why, what are you afraid of? Behind the crowd, Midnight picked up the black ball in Tokiyami Fumikage's hand and announced loudly, buyer, won a class Tokiyami Fumikage. Advertisement, that, teacher. Tokiyami Fumikage looked at the black ball in Midnight's hand and seemed to want to say something, feeling a little overwhelmed. However, Midnight didn't give Tokiyami Fumikage a chance to speak at all, but directly asked the staff to take him to the rest area. Teacher, me, I think. Along the way, Tokiyami Fumikage couldn't help turning his head around, but Midnight didn't ignore him and continued to preside over the current round. First of all, congratulations to all of you for advancing to the second round. Midnight glanced at everyone below, but the next game will be much more difficult than the first round. Everyone is the winner of the previous round, and there is no doubt about their strength, so in the next round, I hope you can play your best level. The first game. Midnight stretched his voice deliberately and paused for a long time, leaving a huge suspense for everyone. The first game, Hero S. Branch Uchiha Madara vs. Hero S. Branch Green Valley Izuku. Various requests, Uchiha Madara. Hearing this name, Midoriya Izuku's face turned pale. The images of Uchiha Madara's murders kept replaying in his mind, and he didn't even notice that his legs had begun to tremble. Looking at Green Valley Izuku who stayed in a daze, Midnight couldn't help reminding, what's the matter, Green Valley, hurry up and play. Oh, yes. Green Valley Izuku reacted suddenly and found that Uchiha Madara had come to the arena at some point. He hurriedly walked forward, and only slowed down a little when he entered the arena. Then, take your place. Midnight paused, then looked at Uchiha Madara, just take it easy and don't scare people. Don't worry, he won't die. Uchiha Madara smiled slightly, looking indifferent. Midnight rolled his eyes secretly, then silently retreated to the sidelines and distanced himself from Uchiha Madara. Prepare. Start. Chapter 045, All Free Moves Advertisement. Preparation. Start. As soon as Midnight finished speaking, Uchiha Madara's feet suddenly exerted force, and his body shot out instantly. Seeing this, Izuku Green Valley couldn't help but take a half step back, a drop of cold sweat dripped on his forehead, his eyes narrowed slightly, left. Midoriya Izuku predicted Uchiha Madara's next move almost as soon as he set off. And, his prediction was correct. Whoosh, boom. Uchiha Madara punched in the air, and the huge force brought bursts of punching wind. With only the aftermath, he pushed Green Valley Izuku out several meters away. Seeing that his punch actually failed, Uchiha Madara's movements couldn't help but pause. Actually escaped. Taking advantage of Uchiha Madara's stupefied effort, Green Valley Izuku quickly jumped to the back, pulling a considerable distance away from him. After a few seconds, Uchiha Madara straightened up again, and the look in Izuku's eyes changed slightly. I didn't expect that Green Valley Izuku could make such great progress with his intervention. Shouldn't it be the original protagonist? So far, I have obtained very little information about Uchiha-san. Ahead, Izuku Green Valley said slowly. Hearing Izuku's words, Uchiha Madara, who was about to attack again, stopped what he was doing and waited for his next words. But I know that Uchiha prefers a violent solution. Izuku Midori clenched his right fist. In terms of strength, even if I can compete with Uchiha-san now, the odds of winning are definitely not high. While speaking, Green Valley Izuku involuntarily looked at the bandage on his finger. Advertisement: every time he uses quirks, he will add a wound to his body, so Izuku Green Valley will not fight recklessly unless it is a last resort. Various requests: Uchiha-san's quirks, I still don't know very well, but I know that your abilities are excellent, so. Green Valley Izuku's eyes became firm. This is the only way. Green Valley Izuku finished speaking, and suddenly he stepped forward and walked towards Uchiha Madara. He had seen Uchiha Madara breathe fire, and the fire was getting stronger and stronger by the wind, so Izuku's punch would only make the flames burn more and more. So this time, he intends to use melee combat. At least so far, Izuku Green Valley hasn't seen how good Uchiha Madara's melee abilities are. And every melee of Uchiha Madara, although the speed is relatively fast, but the attack method is relatively simple. Although it is a bit risky to do so, Izuku Midoriya has researched all of Uchiha Madara's battle data. He was 60% sure that he could avoid Uchiha Madara's attack. Melee. Uchiha Madara frowned slightly, looking at Green Valley Izuku, who was rushing towards him. Is this guy crazy? The hesitation only lasted for a second, and seeing Izuku Green Valley getting closer and closer to him, Uchiha Madara instinctively clenched his right hand and punched it out. Right. Green Valley Izuku's eyes narrowed, his right foot moved to the left, and then his left hand squeezed a fist and began to accumulate strength. Meanwhile, Uchiha Madara's fist once again brushed past Izuku Green Valley. Looking at the fist that was getting closer and closer to him, Uchiha Madara frowned slightly, and his body instantly disappeared in place. Whoosh! On the field, a strong wind blew, and the figure of Uchiha Madara reappeared on the other side of the field, frowning slightly. Advertisement: did you escape again? Various requests? Ahead, Green Valley Izuku's fist failed, and his body leaned forward due to inertia, almost falling out of the field. Uchiha Madara narrowed his eyes slightly and began to condense chakra secretly. I don't believe you can escape this time. Once or twice can be said to be accidental, and if the third time is avoided, then Uchiha Madara really has to consider switching tactics. Whoosh! The figure of Uchiha Madara disappeared again, and Izuku, who was opposite him, bowed slightly, lowering his body's center of gravity. Above, looking at Uchiha Madara's actions, Midori Izuku made a judgment in an instant. The strength of the feet is removed, the whole body is lowered, and then the hands are suspended on the ground, and the strength is concentrated on the right foot and swept out. Seeing this, Uchiha Madara's pupils, who were already close to Green Valley Izuku, shrank slightly, her eyes instantly turned scarlet, and the three black hooked jade instantly joined together. The blue skeleton wrapped Uchiha Madara's entire body, and at the same time, Green Valley Izuku's right foot was getting closer and closer to him. Bah! Green Valley Izuku's kick didn't use all his strength, it could even be said that he didn't even have 10% of his strength. Uchiha Madara stood still, but Green Valley Izuku was knocked out. He simply didn't use much power, so he didn't fly much distance. Uchiha Madara stood there, slowly dissipating the blue skeleton wrapped around his body, and his eyes returned to normal immediately, 3 times. It doesn't seem to be an accident. Although I already knew about Uchiha's move, but, not far away, Izuku Green Valley stood up and twisted his numb right foot. As a personal experiencer of the USJ incident, Izuku Midori knew that Uchiha Madara had used this trick against Nomu and resisted Nomu's attack. But he, who has never really fought against Nomu, doesn't know how terrifying Nomu's power is. Asterisk. Chapter 046. Please use all your strength advertisement. Looking at Green Valley Izuku with a serious face and a tense body in front of him, Uchiha Madara smiled lightly and forehead slightly. Green Valley, you are the first person who deserves me to be a little more serious. Slightly. Seriously? Hearing these words, Izuku Midori's breath froze. He was not serious before, or did he never take it seriously? Uchiha Madara shook his hand, but only a little serious. You. Midoriya Izuku swallowed secretly. Uchiha-san, what the hell are your quirks? Izuku Midori, you are far from worth my efforts. Uchiha Madara interrupted Izuku Midori and asked inappropriately. Under Izuku's incredulous eyes, Uchiha Madara's feet suddenly appeared a layer of light blue unknown substance. Then, he couldn't see Uchiha Madara's movements at all. Green Valley Izuku only felt a gust of wind blowing in his ears, followed by a sharp pain in his stomach. By the time he reacted, he had already been kicked off the court by Uchiha Madara. The severe pain continued to stimulate Green Valley Izuku's brain, forcing him to bend over to relieve the terrible pain. Green Valley Boy. The scrawny All Might had arrived at the entrance of the passage at some point, staring intently at the tiny figure hunched in front of him, his eyes full of worry. At the same time, All Might's eyes on Uchiha Madara changed again and again. When Uchiha Madara fought Kirishima Ejiro before, he could still see the black afterimages. But this time, All Might could barely see anything. Is it intentional to hide the strength, or did it get a qualitative improvement in the battle? All Might frowned deeply. If it's intentional to hide the power, well, Uchiha Madara is really too dangerous. Various requests, advertisement, Midoriya, Midnight Izuku off the field. Midnight turned to his side, looked at the cracked wall behind him, and moved his lips slightly. The winner, Uchiha Madara. This Uchiha Madara is too powerful, it's just crushing it all the way. His parents must be some famous hero, can't wait to meet him. But, what are his quirks? Who knows, why don't you just go to the school and file your files? The audience seems to have begun to get used to Uchiha Madara's strength, and this time the commotion is obviously less obvious than the previous ones. Although there is still a commotion, the sound has become smaller. Soon, Green Valley Izuku was carried off the field by medical staff and sent to the health room. Judging by the extent of the damage to the walls, I'm afraid Izuku Midoriya will break a few bones no matter what. The game continued. In the second game, Hero S. Branch Shoto Todoroki played Hero S. Branch Zero Honda. With absolute strength, Shoto Todoroki won almost instantly and showed no mercy. At the same time, this also made Zero Honda very depressed for a time. The third game, Hero S. Division Ida Ida vs Hero S. Division Bakugo Katsuki. The indiscriminate bombardment of Bakugo Katsuki's explosive attack, coupled with Ida's failure to break for a while, so the winner of this match was Bakugo Katsuki. Various requests, advertisement. After a new round of competition, there are 4 winners remaining on the field. Uchiha Madara, Bakugo Katsuki, Tokiyami Fumikage, Shoto Todoroki. Midnight's charming lips twitched. First of all, let's congratulate these young guys with warm applause. As soon as Midnight finished speaking, applause that shocked the world immediately broke out. Mixed with the applause, there were also deafening cheers. Next, the first game of the third round. Midnight stepped forward and cleared his throat. The first game, Hero S. Section Uchiha Madara vs Hero S. Section Bakugo Katsuki. As soon as Midnight's words came out, the audience boiled over. Along the way, the performances of Uchiha Madara and Bakugo Katsuki are obvious to all. The battle between the two powerhouses is definitely very exciting. Because the interval is short, we are now taking a half-hour break. After half an hour, the battle between the two will officially start. Oh, after disbanding, Uchiha Madara walked all the way to the rest area. In half an hour, he can't do anything, he might as well go back and drink a glass of juice to add some water. Hey, Pink Eye. Just as Uchiha Madara was about to enter the rest area, a very unfriendly voice suddenly came from behind him. Uchiha Madara doesn't have to look back to know that the owner of this voice is Bakugo Katsuki. Uchiha Madara sighed helplessly in his heart, then turned around and looked at Bakugo Katsuki sideways. Is something wrong? Bakugo Katsuki stared at Uchiha Madara's eyes tightly, with a gloomy face. This time, I will use all my strength and do my best to bring you down. So, I hope you can also go all out to complete the battle between the two of us seriously. Go all out? Hearing this, Uchiha Madara couldn't help laughing. Trust me, you don't have to make me go all out. Whatever you want. Bakugo Katsuki turned around and said without looking back, I just want to remind you that if you don't use all your strength, be careful that you will lose too badly. Chapter 047. Madarav's Bakugo Katsuki advertisement. Half an hour later, Uchiha Madara and Bakugo Katsuki arrived in the middle of the field on time. The sun has begun to tilt westward, but the temperature at this moment has not dropped at all. Okay, the first game is about to start. Midnight stood in the middle of the field and put his hands on his hips. Are you all ready? Bakugo Katsuki nodded slightly and took a deep breath. Uchiha, I hope you don't disappoint me. Don't worry. Uchiha Madara also nodded slightly. I will let you know the gap between you and me. This sentence, I will return it to you intact. Let's take your place. Noon Yoruichi stepped back from the field, raised his right hand high, and after confirming that both of them were ready, he put it down abruptly. Start. Who do you think will win? Above the stand, present. Mike stared intently at the two young figures below. Uchiha Madara. Aizawa Shota, who was sitting beside him, blurted out, barely thinking. You have so much confidence in him, don't you? Aizawa Shota asked present, Mike slantingly. Indeed. The smile on present. Mike's mouth gradually disappeared. You and I both know in my heart that he is quite dangerous. Kindness. ... Whoosh. The moment Midnight's voice fell, the figure of Uchiha Madara disappeared instantly. Before Bakugo Katsuki could even lift his hand, he was kicked away by Uchiha Madara. What? Under the severe pain, Bakugo Katsuki, who was still flying in midair, barely opened one eye, trying to understand the current situation. However, Bakugo Katsuki only felt a flower before his eyes, and Uchiha Madara's face was infinitely enlarged before his eyes. Bang! He didn't even have time to fight back and was kicked out again by Uchiha Madara. Various requests, advertisement. Cough cough. Bakugo Katsuki fell to the edge of the field in embarrassment, got up with difficulty, and hunched over his stomach. You. Bakugo Katsuki stared at Uchiha Madara, who could have just knocked himself out of the field. Is this looking down on yourself? Bakugo-kun, let's have some fun. Uchiha Madara's mouth curled slightly, and he stretched out a finger. I didn't even use a single bit of strength. You. Bakugo Katsuki started to see sparks from his hands. Pink eye, don't take yourself too seriously. Bakugo Katsuki exerted strength under his feet, but he never thought that he had just taken a step, and the figure of Uchiha Madara disappeared again. Bakugo Katsuki's pupils shrank suddenly, looking around for Uchiha Madara's figure, but it was still in vain. Whoosh! A strong wind blew, and the figure of Uchiha Madara suddenly appeared behind Bakugo Katsuki. At the same time, his hands quickly formed the seal, and the speed of the seal was many times faster than when dealing with the imaginary enemy before. Even the spectators watching the battle could only see afterimages that were difficult to see with the naked eye by using the method of video recording. Si Wei Shen Hai Wu Yin. Uchiha Madara gathered the chakra behind his throat and exhaled in one breath. The flames condensed and formed a huge fireball. Fire style, great fireball technique, boom. The fireball has an extremely wide range, directly covering the entire playing field. There was a burst of amazement from the audience. Although they had seen the sight of Uchiha Madara breathing fire with the help of the screen before, the actual feeling of seeing it was completely different. Hey! Seeing the fireball getting closer and closer, a drop of cold sweat dripped from Bakugo Katsuki's forehead. Did something go wrong? Is this guy a monster? Too fast, he doesn't even have a chance to fight back, okay? Various requests, rush over. No way, advertisement. Above, high temperature, wide range, unrealistic. Can't I just admit defeat? The high temperature in front of him forced Bakugo Katsuki to step back. After experiencing countless struggles in his heart, Bakugo Katsuki took a deep breath, used his feet hard, and jumped out of the field. Boom! The flames swept across the arena, and the cement division outside the edge line was directly overturned by the heat wave. Because of this fireball, the temperature of the entire stadium continued to rise, and many people in the audience had their clothes soaked with sweat. With all the previous lessons, Midnight was so frightened that he hid in the passage, and didn't dare to come out until the flames went out. Bakugo Katsuki, off the field, the winner, Uchiha Madara. Midnight breathed a long sigh of relief, looking at Uchiha Madara like a monster. The power of his flame. Is it that strong? The corners of Uchiha Madara's mouth rose slightly, and he walked slowly to Bakugo Katsuki's side, his eyes instantly turning scarlet. Bakugo-kun, see clearly, I don't even use my quirks. Bakugo Katsuki clenched his fists with both hands, and he was powerless to refute Uchiha Madara's words. It is true that this game, Uchiha Madara does not use quirks. And many more, there seems to be something wrong. Bakugo Katsuki's pupils contracted slightly. Uchiha Madara not using quirks? Then why does he breathe fire? Hey, you. Bakugo Katsuki was about to say something when he realized that Uchiha Madara had walked into the distance. Che, what is the strongest hero? Looking at Uchiha Madara's back, Bakugo Katsuki's fists tightened. This game is a complete crush. The strongest hero, is like a distant dream for him, and it is still far away. After watching his battle with Izuku Midoriya, Bakugo Katsuki thought he would be sure, but he didn't expect. Damn pink eye, one day, I will surpass you and become the strongest hero, Chapter 048, Madarav's Shoto Todoroki advertisement. The game continued. In the second game, Hero, Branch Shoto Todoroki versus Hero, Branch Tokiyami Fumikage. Shoto Todoroki didn't fully embrace his own power without the intervention of Izuku Green Valley in the original novel. So, for the whole game, Shoto Todoroki only used half of his power. Shoto Todoroki is strong, but Tokiyami Fumikage is not bad either. In addition, Shoto Todoroki didn't use all his strength, so the whole game, the two were half-hearted. In the end, Shoto Todoroki took advantage of Tokiyami Fumikage's distraction and blasted him off the field with a large number of icicles, and the game came to an end. Dear viewers, the game has now entered the white-hot stage, present, Mike said impassively after Shoto Todoroki and Tokiyami Fumikage left the stage. As soon as the words fell, the field immediately burst into warm applause and cheers. The next thing to do is the finals of this sports festival, and it is also the last game of the first-year division of this sports festival. This game is also the final stage for two students from Class 1A to compete for the championship and runner-up. Now, let's invite two newcomers to the stage. Streamers were flying everywhere, and fireworks exploded all over the sky. Uchiha Madara and Shoto Todoroki walked slowly to the center of the arena in such an environment. At this moment, the cheers were even more intense. Shoto Todoroki looked at Uchiha Madara expressionlessly, and after a long silence, he finally said slowly, I didn't expect that the one who finally competed with me for the championship was actually you who has quirks as hypnosis. Shoto Todoroki deliberately accentuates the word hypnosis, and the meaning of the target is particularly obvious. Uchiha, what's your relationship with Endeavor? Faced with Uchiha Madara, Shoto Todoroki couldn't hold back any longer, and spoke out the questions buried in his heart. Various requests, Endeavor. Uchiha Madara lowered his head and thought for a while. A figure covered in fire appeared in his mind. Shoto Todoroki's dad. Advertisement. Thinking of the conflict between him and his father, combined with his previous behavior of breathing fire, Uchiha Madara can probably understand why Shoto Todoroki asked this. I have nothing to do with him. Uchiha Madara raised his head. If you don't believe me, you can ask him himself. Who wants to ask him? Shoto Todoroki frowned slightly and quickly relaxed, but it doesn't matter if you don't want to say it. Because, I will never make my D father feel better. Are you all ready? Midnight walked slowly between the two of them and stood still. Come on, two newcomers, the professional hero, seem to value you very much. Ah, ready. Shoto Todoroki stared at Uchiha Madara tightly and nodded slowly. I'm ready too. Uchiha Madara nodded slightly as well. Good luck to you, then. Midnight backed away with a smile, not stopping until he was out of the field. Contest, start. Boom. As soon as Midnight finished speaking, Shoto Todoroki's left half-body immediately burst into a lot of cold air, and a thick layer of ice extended from under his feet, forming a huge ice thorn, heading towards Uchiha Madara. It's finally interesting. Seeing this, the corners of Uchiha Madara's mouth curled slightly, her hands quickly formed a seal, and a huge fireball was spit out from her mouth. Fire style, great fireball technique, boom. The unimaginable high temperature and super low temperature collided and cancelled each other out, forming a large amount of water vapor which drifted into the air. Due to the water vapor, the surrounding vision is completely blocked, and the air begins to expand. That's not good. Seeing this, Cement C, who was sitting beside him, squatted down almost without thinking, and touched the ground with his palms. Bang! 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 Advertisement layer after layer of tall concrete rose from the ground and formed a circle, blocking the surrounding audience from behind. Various requests, the collision of the flames and the ice caused the air to expand and contract violently. The cement division had just built the wall when a huge explosion occurred in the center of the arena. Boom! A wave of heat rushed towards the surroundings, and the surrounding area was even more gusty because of the air wave. Bah! Small cracks gradually appeared on the glass windows in the stands, and eventually they shattered completely, and the glass slag was scattered all over the floor. My god! Present! Mike subconsciously hid under the table with a lingering look. What kind of monsters are they? It's just my student. Aizawa Shota stood up next to him and looked down without blinking. Who will be the final winner in this game? Minutes and seconds passed, and when the water vapor dissipated to a level that would not affect the sight, present. Mike exclaimed again on the field. Neither Uchiha nor Hung were kicked out of the field. Present. Mike was lying by the window, half of his body reaching the outside. This is a rare sight of Shongying in 100 years. The collision between the two powerhouses is really wonderful. On the field, Shoto Todoroki is not as easy as it looks. Because as long as he takes half a step back, he is out. This is what he paid with all his might, at all costs. On the other hand, Uchiha Madara, who was on the opposite side, actually stood firmly on the spot, never moved at all, and looked relaxed. Cut. Shoto Todoroki gritted his teeth, and the ice under his feet spread out again. Uchiha Madara's hands were sealed again, and a huge flame spewed out of his mouth. Fire style, put out the fire. Chapter 049, the end of the sports festival. Advertisement, fire style, put out the fire, boom. The flames collided with the ice again, and the cement division had to reinforce the protection to withstand the aftermath of the explosion. Boom. The huge wind and waves rolled up the ribbons flying high in the air, and then, an orange-red flame rose into the sky, engulfing the ribbons and burning them out. There was an exclamation from the audience. If the cement company had not taken protective measures in advance, I am afraid that none of them would have been intact. The flames lasted for more than 10 seconds before they stopped, and all the places that could burn on the scene were ignited by flames. The stadium was in a mess, and there was a faint smell of burning, which was very pungent. As for Shoto Todoroki, it had already been blasted out. Quickly put out the fire, present. Mike shouted loudly in the stands. Hearing the sound, the security personnel in the stadium also acted at the fastest speed. Since someone put out the fire, I won't do anything unnecessary. Uchiha Madara, who was going to use water style to put out the fire, paused and slowly put down his hands. The work efficiency of the security personnel is very high, but within a few minutes, the fire at the scene has been completely extinguished. But the burnt smell could not be concealed. This guy Madara, is he that strong? Yaoyorozu Momo, who was sitting in the dedicated auditorium, pressed his chin with one hand, barely taking his eyes off Uchiha Madara. Yaoyorozu Wan, I see that you and Uchiha are very close, don't you know his true strength? Green Valley Izuku, who was sitting behind Yaoyorozu Momo, couldn't help but ask. I haven't known him for a long time, so of course I don't know. That's it. Green Valley Izuku smiled wryly, feeling a little embarrassed. I was hoping to get some useful information or something. Various requests, after half an hour, except for the top 3, all the contestants present were dressed in competition clothes and stood neatly in the center of the stadium. Advertisement and standing in front of them are a group of reporters with microphones and a large line of cameramen with cameras. This year's Heroes Sports Festival first grade all competitions have ended, then next, the awards ceremony will be held. Midnight stood at the front, smiling and enchanting. Snapped, snapped, snapped. As soon as Midnight finished speaking, the fireworks that had been prepared around were lit, and then opened in the air, which was particularly eye-catching. Fireworks shrouded the frontmost area, and it was hazy. Midnight tapped the button under his feet, and a well-crafted, carefully decorated podium slowly rose from the ground. Standing on the podium were Shoto Todoroki, Tokiyami Fumikage and Uchiha Madara. That is, the top 3 of this heroic sports festival. Facing the three people standing on the podium, everyone cast envious eyes. The next step is to award the medals. Of course, the person in charge of awarding the medals this year must be him. Midnight stood there, waved his hand, and pointed to the heights. Everyone looked in the direction of her fingers, and at the top of the stadium, they saw a muscular, tall, and very familiar figure. Hero S. of number 1 All Might. The atmosphere of the scene was ignited again, and the audience at the scene stood up inadvertently, their eyes full of admiration. It's All Might. The audience in the auditorium couldn't help but start cheering. Various requests, ho. All Might opened his hands and jumped off the top of the stadium, doing a 180-degree somersault in midair, then landed firmly on the ground. Our hero, S. All Might. I came on the stage with a medal. Advertisement, but this year's first grade is really good. After all, it was trained by numbers hero, S. The professional hero, S. began to discuss the strength of the students, and there was a faint commotion at the scene. Then, All Might, start with the medal for the third place, Midnight said, handing the medal that the staff handed to All Might. Seeing this, All Might took the medal from Midnight's hand, revealing 8 large white fangs, and then walked slowly to Tokiyami Fumikage's side. Congratulations, Tokiyami boy. All Might hung the bronze medal on Tokiyami Fumikage's neck, still smiling. You're strong. All Might suddenly stepped forward and gave Tokiyami Fumikage a big hug. However, if you want to avoid being restrained, you can't rely too much on quirks. If you can further strengthen your basic strength, there should be more options. Clear. Boom boy. All Might walked up to Shoto Todoroki and hung up his medal. Congratulations. All Might stepped forward and gave Shoto Todoroki a big hug. How about trying to accept yourself once in a while? Huh? Hearing this, Shoto Todoroki was stunned for a moment, not knowing why. All Might patted Shoto Todoroki's back lightly. Whether it's left or right, it's your strength, isn't it? It has nothing to do with endeavor. Your stuff is yours, All Might added. I'll try. All Might nodded, released him slowly, then picked up the last golden medal and came to Uchiha Madara. It's your turn, Uchiha boy. All Might put the medal on Uchiha Madara, just when he was about to give Uchiha Madara a hug, but was rejected by the other party. Uchiha Madara put one hand on All Might's chest with disgust on his face. Forget those nasty words. All Might was a little embarrassed. Well, I haven't said anything yet. Just hang up, we can skip the rest of the steps. I always feel that All Might's attitude towards himself is not right recently. All Might straightened up, took a deep look at Uchiha Madara, and finally sighed inwardly. Immediately afterwards, he turned to face the media again, with a smile on his face. Asterisk. Chapter 050. Goodbye Stain advertisement. Okay, the top 3 this time are them, but everyone, all the students present actually have the possibility to stand on the podium. As you can see in the competition, competing with each other, improving each other, and constantly climbing to a higher level of bravery, the next generation of hero, S, has undoubtedly emerged. Then at the end, I want to say, please raise your arms and shout with me. All Might raised his left hand high, and the people in the audience raised one hand in cooperation. Everyone has worked hard, plus. Ultra, at this moment, it is already sunset. Aizawa Shota, the head teacher, led everyone to the classroom. After everyone sat in their seats, he slowly opened his mouth and said, everyone has worked hard, so it is said that the school will be closed for the next 2 days, and the professional hero, S, who watched the sports festival will probably send out recruitment applications in these 2 days. These schools will be responsible for sorting them out, and they will be announced after the holidays are over. You can look forward to it and enjoy the holidays. Yes. Aizawa Shota paused, then looked at Uchiha Madara. Ah yes, Uchiha-kun, stay here. Everyone left the classroom one by one, and in the end, only Uchiha Madara and Aizawa Shota were left in the classroom. Is something wrong? Uchiha Madara slightly foreheaded and folded her arms around her chest, waiting for Aizawa Shota's next words. Your performance has caught the attention of the police. Aizawa Shota took a file bag from the drawer and handed it to Uchiha Madara. They asked you to do the quirks test again. Didn't you say All Might will help me with the troublesome thing? Uchiha Madara picked up her school bag, skipped Aizawa Shota directly, and walked out without looking back. Just leave this kind of thing to him. When did he say that? Aizawa Shota frowned slightly, a little confused. How could he not know this kind of thing? During lunch, Uchiha Madara stopped at the gate and said without looking back, anyway, don't come to me for this kind of thing. Advertisement, various requests. By the time Uchiha Madara walked out of the school gate, the sky was half dark, and the streetlights were fully turned on. The temperature dropped quickly. Uchiha Madara rubbed his palms, put his hands in his trouser pockets, and walked towards his villa. However, just after taking a step, Uchiha Madara felt a faint killing intent in the air. And this killing intent was obviously aimed at him. And inexplicably feel a little familiar. Is it an illusion? The stupor only lasted for less than a second, and Uchiha Madara continued to walk forward as if nothing was wrong, while frowning slightly. This familiar feeling should not be an illusion. Look, is that Uchiha Madara from Class 1A? Looks like so cool. Although there are not many people on the street, there are many people who recognize Uchiha Madara. After all, the Heroic Sports Festival has replaced the existence of the Olympic Games, and its popularity is quite high. At this moment, the projection screen of the building on the street is full of replays of the Shangyin Sports Festival. Many passers-by who could not go to the stadium because they did not buy tickets could not help but stop and watch. Looking at the fans in front of him, Uchiha Madara was a little surprised. Someone knows me so soon? Hey, can you sign my name? And big brother, you look so handsome when you breathe fire. Advertisement. Looking at the various small books in front of him, Uchiha Madara felt a tingling in his scalp. Take your time, come one by one, don't squeeze. Various requests. You seem to enjoy being a star, Uchiha Madara. A hoarse, murderous voice came from the darkness. You're finally willing to come out. Uchiha Madara walked into the dark alley with a blank expression, and threw his school bag aside casually. Your voice reminds me, Hero, Killer, Stain. In the dark alley, Stain slowly emerged and stood about 5 meters away from Uchiha Madara. At this time, he was still dressed as a ronin, no different from before. Do you have anything to do with me? Uchiha Madara looked at Stain in front of him and said blankly. What do you think? Stain lightly placed the sword on his shoulder, his face gradually gloomy. You really upset me. What do you think, Hero, Is it a star? Stain has had a grudge against Uchiha Madara since his last defeat. In order to solve him, Stain went through hell training, and his strength has grown a lot than before. Oh, I see. Uchiha Madara interrupted Stain, chuckling, you're here to die. It's not certain who will die. Stain took down the tachi and licked the tip of the knife, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Whoosh! As soon as Stain finished speaking, countless knives flashing with cold light suddenly flew around, all of which were aimed at Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara closed his eyes gently, then opened them slowly. The 3 black hooked jade in the eyes were connected together to form a closed circle. Brush! Ding! The blue skeleton immediately surrounded Uchiha Madara, the knife collided with the blue skeleton, and all were bounced off. Asterisk. Chapter 051. Snapshot advertisement. Boom. The moment the knife just landed at the feet of Uchiha Madara, the whole thing exploded, and the alley was filled with smoke for a while. Smoke bomb. Uchiha Madara frowned slightly, and by the time he looked up again, Stain had disappeared. The smoke obscured the line of sight, and visibility was no more than a meter. Hey! Upon seeing this, Uchiha Madara smiled lightly, the circles in his eyes spread out, turning back into 3 black hooked jade, and the blue skeleton disappeared. Stain, do you know, your way of killing is far worse than if you don't kill Toddy again. While speaking, Uchiha Madara could feel that there seemed to be another person behind him. Go to hell. Stain didn't intend to talk nonsense with Uchiha Madara at all, and with his right hand, the tip of the tachi stabbed fiercely towards Uchiha's heart. Time slowed down at this moment, and Uchiha Madara turned around unhurriedly and grabbed Stain's right wrist. Crack. Stain's right wrist was directly pinched by Uchiha Madara. Stain was in pain, and his right hand loosened. The tachi in his hand fell to the ground, making a crisp sound. Last time I kindly let you go, but if you didn't cherish it, don't blame me for being cruel this time. Uchiha Madara's eyes narrowed, and the 5 fingers of his right hand came together, pointing directly at Stain's heart. Puff! Uchiha Madara's right hand penetrated Stain's chest, piercing his entire heart. How? Possible? Stain's mouth kept gushing with blood, his expression rather grim. He didn't understand, his speed was already fast, but why? Uchiha Madara was faster than him. He is only 15 years old, this unscientific. Goodbye. Uchiha Madara pulled out his blood-stained right hand, without a trace of pity or sympathy in his eyes. Advertisement. Stain's body fell weakly into a pool of blood, and after a few struggles, he was completely dead. Various requests, Mom. Behind Uchiha Madara, a weak but pitiful voice came out faintly, which was particularly abrupt. Huh? Uchiha Madara frowned, turned around, and saw the small figure at the door of the alley at a glance. This is a little girl in a floral dress, about 5 or 6 years old, with 2 lovely ponytails. Perhaps because she was frightened, the little girl's eyes kept streaming from the corners of her eyes, and her body was trembling slightly. Forget it. Uchiha Madara was silent for a few seconds, deciding to leave the little girl alone. He took a few steps forward, flicked the blood on his arms, then carried his school bag, and the chakra condensed under his feet, disappearing in place in an instant. Dong dong dong. Early the next morning, there was a knock on the door of Uchiha Madara's house. In desperation, Uchiha Madara had to bite the bullet and get up forcibly to open the door. It was his neighbor and classmate, Yaoyorozu Momo, who knocked on the door. Are we going to play together? Yaoyorozu Momo was still wearing revealing clothes, showing off her good figure. Ha! Uchiha Madara yawned and rubbed his eyes. Wait for me, I'll wash up. No problem. Yaoyorozu Momo smiled lightly, went into Uchiha Madara's house naturally, took an apple from the table, and ate it on his own. This is the norm for Yaoyorozu Momo, and Uchiha Madara says he's used to it. After washing his face with cold water, Uchiha Madara felt instantly sober. Let's go. 10 minutes later, after washing up, Uchiha Madara put on his coat, walked to the gate, and opened it. Yaoyorozu Momo walked over to Uchiha Madara with a mysterious smile. Madara, I found a good place today, I'm sure you will love it. Advertisement, what good place? Uchiha Madara tilted her head in confusion. Hey, keep it secret, you'll know when the time comes. Various requests. The good place Yaoyorozu Momo said is an open-air natural hot spring, and it is a mixed bath. Although there are many people looking for themselves in Yaoyorozu Momo to take photos and sign autographs, this does not affect Uchiha Madara's interest at all. Looking at the beauties around him, Uchiha Madara suddenly felt as if he had come to the legendary paradise. The baths are huge and there are a lot of them. It is conservatively estimated that it can accommodate thousands of people at a time. And at the very front of the bath is a huge projection screen. Dear viewers, there is an important news broadcast now. The content on the projection screen suddenly changed to a news broadcast, and many people did not respond for a while. Just this morning, police found a male body in an alley at the intersection of Shibuya Road and Nakata Road. According to the preliminary judgment of the police, this is the corpse of Hiro S. Killer Stain. The deceased's roots are tragic, and his heart has been hollowed out. Hiro S. Killer Stain. Yaoyorozu Momo ran to Uchiha Madara's side at some point, staring at the big screen without blinking. You know him? Hearing this, Uchiha Madara asked. He is a Hiro S. killer, how could I not know him? Although I haven't seen him, I have heard of his name. Saying that, Yaoyorozu Momo changed the conversation, however, he is very powerful, who killed him? What about him, anyway? This person can be considered to have eliminated harm for the people, isn't it? But isn't the person who killed Stain a murderer? Yaoyorozu Momo was silent for a long time with one hand on his chin, and finally shook his head. Let the police handle this kind of thing. Asterisk chapter 052. Hiro S. Name, Madara Lord. Advertisement 2 days later, Shongying Academy, Class 1A classroom. Hey, did you hear that? Hiro S. Killer Stain was killed. You were killed on the day the sports festival ended, right? I heard that he is very powerful. How did he get killed? Early in the morning, Uchiha Madara had just walked into the classroom door when he heard a heated discussion. Hey Uchiha, who do you think the Hiro S. Killer Stain killed? Kirishima Ejiro asked impatiently before Uchiha Madara sat down. Looking at Kirishima Ejiro's excited little eyes, Uchiha Madara was also a little speechless. I almost beat him to tears a few days ago, why are you so enthusiastic now? Don't hold any grudges, still a child indeed. How would I know? Uchiha Madara hung the bag on the side of the table. Who do you think killed it? It must be All Might. Kirishima Ejiro blurted out the words almost without thinking. Idiot, how could it be All Might killed? Don't you know that professional Hiro S. can't kill casually? Aoyama Yuga shook his head gently. No matter who it is, this person is a murderer, that will not change. Ida lifted the glasses on the bridge of her nose. Hearing everyone's conversation, Green Valley Izuku secretly swallowed and murmured, 17 Hiro S. have been killed, and 23 Hiro S. have been paralyzed and unable to recover. Hiro S. killer, villain's name, Stain. The person who can kill him is by no means an ordinary person. Green Valley Izuku's expression was solemn. Such a person, if it's Hiro S., it's okay to say, if it's villains. The consequences could be disastrous. Good morning, everyone. At this moment, the door of the class was suddenly opened, and Aizawa Shota with a decadent face walked slowly to the podium. Everyone immediately quieted down, waiting for Aizawa Shota's next words. Today's Hiro S. Information Science is a bit special. Aizawa Shota glanced at the people in front of him, consider the codename, which is the Hiro S. name. Hearing Aizawa Shota's words, many people's eyes showed excitement. It seems that they should be looking forward to this part. Advertisement. Actually, this is also related to the Professional Hiro S. recruitment application that you mentioned earlier. This recruitment application will only wait for you to accumulate experience and be recognized as immediate combat power after 2 to 3 years. Will come into effect. In other words, this recruitment application, sent to your first year, is closer to the personal interest of the Professional Hiro S. in your future prospects. It's not uncommon for you to unilaterally cancel your application once that interest wanes before you graduate. Various requests, that is to say, the application received will directly become the pressure on us, right teacher? Toru Hagakuri couldn't help asking. Yes, then, this is the application result calculated by the school. Aizawa Shota took out a remote control from nowhere and pressed it lightly on the blackboard behind him. Gradually, a table appeared on the blackboard, clearly stating the number of applications for Career Hero S received by everyone in Class 1A. Uchiha Madara, 10,022 Shoto Todoroki, 3,258 Tokiyami Fumikage, 1,234. Bakugo Katsuki, 1,200 Iida Ida, 908 Yaoyorozu Momo, 203. Kirishima Ejiro, 105 Uraraka Ochako, 88 Shiro Hanta, 52. Kaminari Denki, 50. In previous years, applications would have been more scattered, but this year, there are only 4 people who have more than 1,000. Aizawa Shota looked at Uchiha Madara, who was ranked number 1, with mixed feelings. Is it really okay to let him go to a Professional Hero S for a workplace experience? And this number is too exaggerated, right? As expected of Madara. Yaoyorozu Momo pressed his chin with admiration. If only I had as many as you. Almost all offices send recruitment application to Uchiha, right? Kirishima Ejiro's mouth twitched slightly. It's more than 10,000 people, and this is the first time I've seen it. Advertisement. It is said that foreign offices have also sent applications to Uchiha. Foreign? So powerful. The vision of these Professional Hero S is too bad. There is no me. Various requests. The result is that, regardless of whether you receive an application or not, you all have to participate in the so-called workplace experience. Aizawa Shota continued. After the USJ incident, you did experience the actual battle with the villains earlier than others, but the school hopes that you will experience the content of the Professional Hero S activities and get more fulfilling training from it. That's why you got the name Hero S in an instant. People look forward to it. There was a commotion from below again. Well, even though it's only tentative to get the Hero S name right now, but if someone randomly picks it up, I'll show him what hell is. The door was pulled open without warning, and Midnight walked to the center of the podium with one hand on his hip. After all, the hero's name that many people took in their student days will be recognized by the world and will directly become a professional hero's name. Well, that's it. Aizawa Shota still looked decadent, unaffected by Midnight's proud figure. As for the naming taste, it's up to Mr. Midnight to judge, because I have absolutely no clue in this regard. Think about what you want to become in the future, leave a fixed impression for naming, and then keep working hard towards him. This is the so-called name and person, such as All Might. After a while of explaining, Midnight handed down the whiteboard that they had prepared, and asked them to write their hero's names on it. Hero's name. I'll use this. After getting the whiteboard, Uchiha Madara wrote 2 big characters on it without hesitation. Lord Madara. Chapter 053. Application for Hero's Association. Advertisement. After everyone named Hero's, they came to the podium one by one to give everyone a report. Of course, this is entirely voluntary. Okay, now that everyone has decided on the hero's name, let's get back to the topic of workplace experience. Aizawa Shota cleared his throat. It will last for a week. As for the key workplace locations, I will send a list to the students who have received the application later. You can choose among them. As for the students who have not received the application, the school has entrusted 40 offices across the country to receive you in advance, and you can choose one among them. Professional hero's have different areas of activity and areas of expertise, so you have to think carefully before making a decision. Yes, I'm going to take charge of the vicious criminals in the urban area. Kirishima Ejiro clenched his fists, eager to try. I want to go to places related to floods, but I don't know if there are any. Asui Suyu was also a little excited. By the way, remember to report your volunteers before this weekend. On the podium, Aizawa Shota reminded. Hearing this, everyone was stunned for a moment, and Kirishima Ejiro couldn't help but ask, on the weekend, isn't there only 2 days left? Aizawa Shota waved his hand, make decisions more efficiently, that's all. The morning class ended quickly. During the lunch break, everyone gathered together and excitedly discussed things about the hero's firm. Hey, have you all decided which professional hero's firm to go to? Ashido Mina looked at the information on the 40 professional hero's firms in his hand, feeling a little melancholy. After all, she did not receive an application and could only choose from these 40 professional hero's firms. As for whether there is any wish, it can only depend on luck. Ojiro Mashirao stepped forward and looked at Ashido Mina suspiciously. Ashido's grades are obviously very good, but it's strange that no one has sent an application. Advertisement, that's it. Ashido Mina nodded desperately, but no one sent her an application, it was so strange. Various requests. Madara, do you like it? Yaoyorozu Momo came to Uchiha Madara's side, tapped his feet lightly, and sat down on his desk. Yes. Uchiha Madara nodded, but his expression looked strange. Yaoyorozu Momo was keenly aware of this and asked, what's wrong? It's nothing. Uchiha Madara shook his head, picked up a pen and drew a circle on the paper, just him. Immediately, Uchiha Madara said while packing her school bag, how about you, do you have a favorite office? Yaoyorozu Momo spread his hands, not yet, I'll go back and think about it for a while. After speaking, Yaoyorozu Momo quickly grabbed the paper from Uchiha Madara's table. Hero's Association. Looking at the circle drawn on Uchiha Madara's paper, Yaoyorozu Momo frowned slightly, this doesn't seem to be an office in our country, right? In the West. Uchiha Madara took back the paper from Yaoyorozu Momo's hand and stuffed it into his school bag. The West? Isn't it very far? Yaoyorozu Momo turned around, put his hands on the table, and stared straight into Uchiha Madara's eyes. Are you sure you want to go to that hero's association? Well, it's not a bad thing to go out and meet the world. Uchiha Madara nodded lightly, put the school bag on his back, turned around and walked out of the classroom. Hey, wait for me. The hero's association. Could it be the One Punch Man? Uchiha Madara bowed his head and walked forward, ignoring Yaoyorozu Momo, whose eyes were already burning with fire behind him. Various requests. 2 days later, Uchiha Madara's villa. Young Uchiha, are you sure you want to go to the hero's association? All Might asked cautiously, sitting opposite Uchiha Madara. Advertisement, I'm sure. Uchiha Madara nodded slightly, staring blankly at All Might. All Might stared at Uchiha Madara for a few seconds, and seeing that the other party's eyes were still the same, he couldn't speak too much. The West is dangerous. I know. What do you know? I know what I should know and what I shouldn't know. What do you know? The corner of All Might's mouth twitched slightly. What the hell is this ambiguous answer? Do you know how high the mortality rate is in the West? All Might took a deep breath and said, how high is the hero's mortality rate? Could it be? Really One Punch Man? Looking at All Might's eyes, Uchiha Madara was more sure of what he was thinking. Don't worry, Teacher All Might, I won't die so easily. You haven't been to the West, how do you know the actual situation there? All Might sighed in his heart. I have no right to stop you, but Uchiha boy, don't go to that place if you can't go. It's for your safety, All Might emphasized again. Uchiha Madara could feel that All Might was sincere to him, so unknowingly, Uchiha Madara's affection for him could not help but rise a little. This is something I have already decided, and it will not be changed easily. Uchiha Madara looked solemn. Also, I really want to go to the West to see it. Sigh. All Might sighed deeply. Don't do dangerous things, don't try to be aggressive. Kindness. All Might repeatedly warned, be careful, don't lose your life. Kindness. Asterisk Chapter 054. The Tiger Monster Haunts. Advertisement the next morning, before Uchiha Madara could say goodbye to Yaoyorozu Momo, he got on the plane to the west early. No way. Whoever told All Might to buy himself a ticket at 6 o'clock in the morning and still need to arrive at the airport 2 hours early, Uchiha Madara can be said to have stayed up all night. While still on the plane, Uchiha Madara fell asleep. 12 hours later, City A Airport. At this moment, the plane had landed and the passengers on the plane got off the plane one after another, only Uchiha Madara was still sounding asleep. This passenger has reached the destination. Seeing this, the flight attendant on the plane came to Uchiha Madara's side and gently touched his arm. Huh? Uchiha Madara woke up leisurely, looking around blankly. Arrived at the destination. The flight attendant smiled lightly and asked with concern, "Are you alone?" Uchiha Madara rubbed his eyes, only to realize that it was already sunset outside. "Where are your parents?" The stewardess looked at Uchiha Madara with a puzzled expression. The child was flying alone, and it was from the east to the west. Aren't his family worried? Judging from his appearance, he should only be a junior high school student, right? They are dead. Ah, sorry. The flight attendant felt a little embarrassed, and hurriedly changed the subject. Can you do it alone? Would you like me to find someone to help you? It's okay, I can do it. Uchiha Madara unloaded the luggage on the top with ease, with some amazing strength, not like a teenage child at all. Be careful on the road. The flight attendant was stunned for a moment, then bent down and waved to Uchiha Madara with a smile on her face. Well, thank you. Uchiha Madara nodded with a hearty smile. Various requests, advertisement, N. Gate 2. After passing the checkpoint, Uchiha Madara wandered around the airport for a long time, only to realize sadly. I actually got lost. There's not even a sign. What do the airport staff eat? Uchiha Madara sat down on the chair and resisted the urge to tear it down. Are you a foreigner? Hearing Uchiha Madara's complaining voice, a young man next door asked. N. Uchiha Madara turned her head, a little depressed. Do you know where exit 2 is? In the front, go all the way to the end, and the second to last is. The young man pointed to his left. This place was attacked by a weirdo 2 days ago, and the signs were damaged by him, and he has not had time to repair it. Attacked by a monster? Uchiha Madara glanced around, only to find that there were indeed many less obvious cracks. N. The young man leaned back on the chair and spread his hands. It's still the same as before. Thank you. After thanking, Uchiha Madara pulled up to salute and walked forward quickly. Huh? Is this child alone? Only then did the youth realize that there was no adult beside Uchiha Madara. These parents are really relieved to let their children fly by themselves. The young man looked at Uchiha Madara's back, shook his head slightly, then took out his headphones from his clothes pocket and began to entertain himself. Run, there are weirdos. What, run? Before Uchiha Madara took a few steps, he noticed that the passengers who were walking forward had turned around and ran towards the weighing hall. These passengers have completely ignored their image and luggage, and have thrown away all the drag on their hands. They can run as fast as they can. Totally escape rhythm. Various requests. Haha, there are so many humans. Luck is really good. At the front, a tall humanoid creature with a tiger's head swaggered forward, with a few bloody arms in its mouth. Let me go. Is it really the world of One Punch Man? Seeing this eccentric, Uchiha Madara completely confirmed where he was. Advertisement without a doubt, this is the world of One Punch Man. Child, run. A passing middle-aged man holding a little girl saw Uchiha Madara standing there in a daze, and could not help but shout a reminder. In the eyes of the middle-aged man, Uchiha Madara was already frightened. However, due to the emergency, the middle-aged man had no intention of taking care of others. In such a dangerous situation, it would be good to save your life. In a short while, the people around have basically run away, and in the airport of Nuada, only Uchiha Madara is standing in the center. Huh? The tiger monster threw away the clean bones, looked at the rather short Uchiha Madara in front of him, and licked his lips. Although he is a little smaller, the snacks that are delivered to the door are not eaten for nothing. Hey! Uchiha Madara put down the salute in his hand, and a disdainful smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Seeing the tiger monster getting closer and closer to Uchiha Madara, many passengers hiding in the dark closed their eyes subconsciously, daring not to watch this bloody scene. Roar! The tiger monster accumulated its strength in its hind legs, and then jumped into the air with force, roaring loudly and drooling. It's disgusting. Are you reincarnated by a starving ghost? Uchiha Madara looked disgusted, condensed chakra under his feet, and jumped to the top of the airport in an instant. Boom! The tiger monster fell fiercely, leaving a huge pit on the ground, and the expressions of the passengers hiding around suddenly changed dramatically, and they hurriedly stepped back. The destructive power is so great, if he is stared at, he will definitely die. Allah! Compared with the panic of the passengers, the tiger monster looked bewildered. Where's my snack? Looking for me? Uchiha Madara's voice came from above the tiger monster's head. Huh? The tiger monster raised his head, tilted his head, and looked at Uchiha Madara without blinking. Why are you standing on the roof? Asterisk. Chapter 055. Hero S Association Headquarters Advertisement. Uchiha Madara's unhurried eyes made Tiger Monster wonder, a child, facing a strange person, why does he look like he is not afraid of the sky and the earth? However, since he can hang upside down on the top of the airport out of thin air, he should be the so-called superpower. Interesting, your taste must be very good. The tiger monster swallowed and spit, his eyes lighted, looking at Uchiha Madara's eyes like watching a delicious meal. It would be great if I was here. Uchiha Madara touched his pocket, there was no weapon in it and he felt helpless. In that case. A red light flashed in Uchiha Madara's eyes, just use the most direct method to kill you. Huh? Kill me? The tiger monster raised his head and laughed, as if he had heard some serious joke. His eyes were red, the whites of his eyes were covered with bright red bloodshots, and he looked disdainful. It's just you? Then try it. Whoosh, boom. The figure of Uchiha Madara disappeared instantly, and almost at the same time, the ground of the airport was almost penetrated. The tiger monster's head was completely blown off by Uchiha Madara, and the brains were splattered everywhere. At this moment, Uchiha Madara's whole body was covered in scarlet blood, and he could smell the strong stench of blood on his body from far away. Okay, amazing. The passengers who were hiding in the dark and didn't have time to evacuate saw this and came out one by one, their eyes full of shock. A teenage kid beat a bad guy single-handedly, how can that be? Are they not dreaming? Excuse me. Is it Uchiha? Classmate? Several men in black suits arrived late, seeing the tragic situation in front of them, and then looking at Uchiha Madara covered in blood, and even stuttered when they spoke. Advertisement, the Heroes Association? Uchiha Madara asked, shaking off the blood on his hand. Yes. Help me with my luggage, I'm not very convenient now. Uchiha Madara raised a finger and pointed behind him, the two red boxes. Okay. Various requests. I have to say that the service of the Heroes Association is really thoughtful. Private car transfer, bodyguard escort, and a free deluxe dinner. After throwing the luggage into the apartment provided by the Heroes Association and taking a comfortable bath, Uchiha Madara followed the Heroes Association staff to the interior of a tall black building. Just by looking at the exterior, Uchiha Madara thinks this black building is extraordinary. At least the materials used to construct this building are by no means cheap. Uchiha Madara followed the staff to a small room in the building and sat down on the central stool before they left in an orderly manner. The room was quite quiet, and there was no one but Uchiha Madara. The room is not too big, about 20 square meters, and there are 4 wooden stools in front of Uchiha Madara. I don't know what they're used for. After about 5 minutes, 4 men in suits finally walked in with some paper documents in their hands. The 4 men sat down on the wooden stool in front of Uchiha Madara, and the middle-aged man with a flat head, who looked like Dante in his 40s, looked at the information in his hand and spoke slowly. We saw your performance at the Shangying Sports Festival. We are very satisfied, and we are very happy that you can choose us. We probably already know what happened this afternoon, but I guess Uchiha-san hasn't been in contact with weirdos before, right? Advertisement, various requests, no, Uchiha Madara shook his head and answered truthfully. The man stretched out 4 fingers. We have 4 definitions of weirdos. First, human beings are upgraded to weird people. Those caused by bad habits or some kind of pressure, or upgraded weird people caused by genetic mutations and other reasons. Second, technology introduction. Third, the upgrading of organisms other than humans. The upgrading of species other than humans caused by environmental pollution or other reasons. Fourth, special intelligent creatures, such as underground people, sea people, etc. The specific situation and information will be sent to your mobile phone in the form of a file. In addition, your mobile phone will be issued by the Heroes Association. But before that, we need you to do a test. The middle-aged man Yang Liaoyang held the information. After all, your physical data will change over time, and Shangying's information may not be completely accurate. I understand. Uchiha Madara nodded slightly. What time is the test? At 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, a special person will take you there. The middle-aged man clicked a few times on the table, and a transparent display screen suddenly appeared in front of Uchiha Madara. On the screen is his detailed information. The last line is a signature bar. Please sign this, and then the relevant personnel will take you to go through the relevant procedures. Sign. Uchiha Madara looked at the middle-aged man, and then at the transparent display screen in front of him. How to sign? Just use your finger to sign. It's inductive. The middle-aged man explained. This is also a credential to confirm that you have come to the Heroes Association. Uchiha Madara nodded and signed his name on the display. Is that all right? Well, please come with me. Another man next to the middle-aged man stood up. I'll take you to go through the formalities. Chapter 056. Mentor Snake Advertisement. I heard that you specially sent an application to a child who was still in school. At 12:30 in the morning, the A-level hero, Sweet Mask, who was wearing clothes and preparing to shoot the show, frowned when she heard the news. Are these guys taking the wrong medicine? What plane are you doing? The profession of hero, is not something a child can take on. Yes, conservatively estimated, his strength is around B level. A middle-aged man's voice came from the phone. Just in case, also report to Mr. Sweet Mask. The voice on the phone paused. After all, he has great potential. Understood. After Sweetheart Mask finished speaking, she hung up the phone and shook her head. These guys are really busy looking for something to do. As the staff members said yesterday, a special car came to the door of Uchiha Madara's apartment early the next morning. And the car looks like a lot of money. Uchiha Madara took the mobile phone that the Heroes Association sent to him yesterday and got into the car on time at 8 o'clock. The driver was a young man who looked to be under 30 years old. He kept a straight face all the way and did not communicate much with Uchiha Madara. Finally, the two came to a huge venue. It was only then that the young man slowly opened his mouth and said, This is the special shooting venue for the Hero's certification exam, and you will take the test here. After the young man took Uchiha Madara to the designated place and handed it over to the staff inside, he left the venue alone. Please come with me. The staff in blue uniforms took Uchiha Madara to the test-only room and wrote something down on the writing board. Item 1 of the test content, repeated horizontal jumps. Second event, 1,500 meters run advertisement. Item 3, weightlifting. Item 4, throwing the shot put. Item 5, vertical jump. Item 6, whack the gopher. Item 7, boxing. Item 8, written test. Various requests. After the test, Uchiha Madara, led by the staff, came to a place similar to a classroom and sat down. After a long time, a man wearing a brown snakeskin suit with a thin body and looking a bit wretched with short black hair walked in. A level 38th Hero's name, Snake. Snake cleared his throat and said solemnly, in the next period of time, I will be responsible for taking you through the Hero's activities. Introduce myself. My Hero's name is Snake, a level Hero's. When he said the word, a level, Snake obviously emphasized his tone, for fear that Uchiha Madara would not know. Like, when you reach the level of a level in the future, you will have more or less influence in the Hero's association, understand? Answer me. Seeing Uchiha Madara sitting on the table with an expressionless and unconcerned look, Snake felt that his face could not hold back. Just say the main point. I know all that. Uchiha Madara yawned, feeling a little sleepy. This guy, in order to show himself, is really a lot of nonsense. Several intersections popped up on Snake's forehead. He resisted the urge to pull Uchiha Madara down and beat him. He took a deep breath and said again, although it is an internship, from now on, you must have Hero's self-consciousness. Starting this afternoon, you will be patrolling every corner of City A. I'm going on patrol. What are you doing? Uchiha Madara yawned and asked back. Advertisement. I only need my help when there is a major disaster. As a Hero's, you won't even be able to handle the small fights on the street, right? Sorry, I don't have a Hero's license, so I'm not really a Hero's, Uchiha Madara pouted. Also, he doesn't plan to be a Hero's, after all. There are too many rules and regulations after becoming Hero's, and it is annoying to look at. Various requests. The kid is quite arrogant. Snake's patience with Uchiha Madara was almost at its limit. Under normal circumstances, when ordinary people see a Hero's of Snake's level, they all cast admiration and envy. But this kid is so good, he doesn't take himself seriously? It seemed that he had to be taught a good lesson. Come with me. Snake's mouth twitched slightly. I'll check your strength first. Huh? Uchiha Madara put his hands behind his head, frowning slightly. Confirm your strength? Didn't you just confirm it this morning? The Hero's Association is the Hero's Association. I am me. As your mentor, it is necessary and responsible for me to understand you in an all-round way. Snake said, revealing a sinister smile. Snake has already decided that when he arrives at the practice field, he must beat him until he doesn't even know his mother. Snake's small expression naturally couldn't escape Uchiha Madara's eyes, and Uchiha Madara knew exactly what he was thinking. Teacher? Hearing this, Uchiha Madara smiled lightly and stood up. So, do you know my quirks? Of course, I have seriously read your information countless times. Snake felt a little guilty inexplicably when he said this. Because actually, he didn't read Uchiha Madara's profile at all. Apart from knowing Uchiha Madara's name, he can be said to know nothing about Uchiha Madara. In that case, let's go. Chapter 057, Confirm Strength. Advertisement. Snake led Uchiha Madara all the way to a huge exercise field with a total area of 1,000 square meters. After standing in the center of the exercise field, Snake has already begun to grind his fists. HMPH. Wait for me to teach you a lesson, arrogant stinky brat. Looking at Uchiha Madara's thin figure, Snake even started to imagine the scene where he defeated him. As long as the other party says the words, I admit defeat, it will be considered a win, right? Snake smiled evilly. No comment. Okay, then. Snake bent his knees slightly, the corners of his mouth raised. Go. Ah. Snake put his hands and fingers together and twisted like a snake. Snake quickly approached Uchiha Madara and said, a boy like you who was born in a peaceful area, I'm afraid you haven't experienced a few crises, right? In terms of crisis, I have experienced less, but that doesn't mean I haven't experienced it. Uchiha Madara's eyes narrowed, and the figure disappeared instantly. Whoosh! Where's the person? A stumble under Snake's feet almost fell to the ground, looking like he had seen a ghost. He was still here just now. Why did he disappear in a blink of an eye? It seems that the tutor doesn't know me. Uchiha Madara's leisurely voice came from above Snake's head, which was extraordinarily strange. Hearing the sound, Snake suddenly raised his head and saw Uchiha Madara hanging upside down on the roof at a glance. Snake felt a little confused. Could it be that this Uchiha Madara is a superpower? Are you a superpower? Snake stared at Uchiha Madara without blinking, and couldn't help but ask. Teacher, didn't you say you've read my profile? Uchiha Madara jumped down from the roof with force, and read it carefully countless times. Various requests. Advertisement. How to get to know your partner in 7 brilliant ways. Inspired. Uchiha Madara specially emphasized the words, seriously, and the provocation in his tone was particularly obvious. You. Snake suddenly felt that he couldn't hold his face a little. After all, as a mentor, he couldn't lose face in front of his juniors. Albeit at first, Snake focused on his left foot, then kicked his right foot towards Uchiha Madara's stomach. Whoosh! The figure of Uchiha Madara disappeared again, and Snake just kicked an afterimage, completely unreal. What a fast speed! Snake's heart gradually sank. If he knew this would happen, he should have taken a serious look at his expectations at that time. He shouldn't be ignored just because he's a kid. Snake suddenly felt a trace of regret. However, even if the speed is fast, the child is always a child, and the combat experience is definitely not good. Just win on skill. Isn't the mentor taking action yet? Uchiha Madara appeared in front of Snake without warning, feeling rather bored. Snake's movements were so slow that he didn't even need to turn on Sharingan to see the other party's movements clearly. Really don't know how this guy got into the A-level hero, S. Simply can't cook anymore. Snake stood silently on the spot, constantly looking for Uchiha Madara's flaws, waiting for an opportunity to attack. Since the instructor doesn't take action, then I'm welcome. Uchiha Madara rubbed his wrist lightly, and the figure disappeared again. Whoosh! One after another black afterimages shuttled continuously in the exercise field, bringing gusts of wind to Snake's ears. Clearly, Uchiha Madara was provocative. Advertisement. Various requests. Just as Snake was getting ready for a desperate fight, Uchiha Madara appeared in front of him again, his right fist expanding in his eyes. Bang! Uchiha Madara punched Snake in the face. Snake was in pain, and his body fell backward involuntarily, and finally sat down on the ground. Uchiha Madara didn't use chakra for this punch, he didn't even use much force. Didn't your teacher teach you to respect the old and care for the young? Snake covered his left eye and wanted to eat Uchiha Madara. This time, he was embarrassed. If this was a real battle, you would already be a corpse. Uchiha Madara flicked his right hand, and a dagger emitting a cold glow suddenly flew towards Snake. Snake didn't expect it, he didn't have time to react at all, he could only watch the dagger get closer and closer to him. Ding! In less than a second, the dagger finally stuck in the center of Snake's legs, less than a centimeter away from his lifeblood. Snake swallowed secretly, and a drop of cold sweat dripped from his forehead. He looked at the delicate dagger in the center of his legs, his head buzzing. The speed is unbelievable, and he doesn't say anything. He was born in a peaceful area and has such a good skill. How did he train it? Seeing Snake sitting in a daze, Uchiha Madara took out the mobile phone that the Hero S Association gave him and glanced at the screen. 12:30 noon. Would you like to go to dinner together? Uchiha Madara put his hands back in his pockets and looked at Snake, who was sitting motionless. Snake didn't seem to hear Uchiha Madara's words, he still sat on the spot, and he didn't know what he was talking about. Since you won't go, then I'll go alone, Uchiha Madara said, and left the training ground without looking back. This so-called confirmation of strength is really meaningless. Chapter 058. Encountering Hero S. Advertisement. Uchiha Madara walked all the way out of the Hero S Association headquarters, and then came to a ramen restaurant supported by the street, and ordered a large serving of pork ribs ramen. The consumption here is much more expensive than the Neon, but fortunately Uchiha Madara does not lack this money, otherwise he is afraid that he will really become a poor man. Just as the ramen ordered by Uchiha Madara was on the table, a guy in a yellow uniform and red gloves with a bald head without a hair walked in and said, "Boss, come with 5 bowls of char siu ramen." "Okay, please wait a moment." After the boss responded, he continued to make ramen. Looking at the familiar figure beside him, Uchiha Madara was stunned for a moment and subconsciously said, "No, is it really Saitama?" Saitama turned to look at the source of the sound when he heard someone call him, and looked at Uchiha Madara excitedly. "You know me? Is it possible? Are your own fans?" Thinking that her years of Hero S activities have finally paid off, Saitama feels like her life is worth it. Teacher Genos, with blonde hair and a whole body made of metal, suddenly appeared beside Saitama and sat down expressionlessly. "Ah, Genos, you're here." Saitama pulled the corner of Rajano's shirt. "Look, I finally have a fan." "Fans?" Genos was a little stunned, but his face remained expressionless. "Teacher, who are the fans you're talking about?" "It's him." Saitama leaned back slightly, revealing the figure of Uchiha Madara. "Are you a fan of the teacher?" While speaking, Genos subconsciously performed a full body scan of the Uchiha class, but the data obtained was mediocre. "It seems that he is just an ordinary person, there is no danger, and he can be contacted," Genos said silently in his heart, and at the same time sent a harmless card to Uchiha Madara on his own initiative. Various requests, that's it. Uchiha Madara took a mouthful of ramen and glanced at Saitama. Advertisement. I didn't expect it to be a real person. It seems that I need to understand the world well. According to All Might's previous statement, One Punch Man is in the west and My Hero Academia is in the east, so can it be assumed that the south and the north also have their own different worlds? Uchiha Madara muttered indiscriminately while eating the noodles. Looking at your age, you should still be in school, right? Saitama had eaten 3 bowls of ramen while Uchiha Madara muttered. Looking at the 3 empty bowls in front of Saitama, Uchiha Madara froze for a moment, then silently looked at the half bowl of noodles left in front of him. Really edible. Well, I came out for an internship recently. Uchiha Madara nodded, then shoved a big mouthful of ramen into his mouth. Internship? Saitama tilted his head and looked puzzled. You look like a junior high school student. Why did you come to intern? Hearing this, Uchiha Madara did not answer Saitama's words, but instead asked, what are you doing here? Come to the exam. Saitama smiled sillily and stretched out a finger. Hero S, what's going on? It's the Hero S exam, teacher, Genos reminded solemnly. Ah yes, this is it. I think we'll see each other often in the future. Uchiha Madara drank the last sip of soup in the bowl, wiped his mouth, stood up and prepared to leave. We meet often. Saitama put his index finger on his chin, wondering why do we meet so often? During this time of Saitama's doubts, Uchiha Madara had gone far. Various requests. During the next period of time, Uchiha Madara walked around the street casually, and then couldn't stand the high temperature, so he simply walked into the coffee shop and drank coffee leisurely. This time in the afternoon was really boring. Snake didn't know what to do, and he never contacted Uchiha Madara. Advertisement. Hello, your cake. A handsome waiter carried a plate of chocolate cake and gently placed it in front of Uchiha Madara. Well, thank you. Uchiha Madara smiled, then continued to think. Saitama said before that he was going to take the exam. Shouldn't he just register as Hero S today? Uchiha Madara gulps down the cake. Hopefully the difference from the original is not too big. Ding bell. The door of the coffee shop was opened, and a tall man wearing sunglasses and light makeup walked in front, and a petite woman followed behind him, holding a large folder in her hand. Sir, this is your schedule for today. The woman handed the folder to the man, but the man didn't seem to care. It's all pushed. The man waved his hand impatiently. Today I just want to relax. Recently, all kinds of troubles have come one after another, and the pressure is really a little big. But, the woman looked a little embarrassed, and it was not a matter of putting down the document in her hand, and it was not a matter of not putting it down. I'll deal with it at the company. The man raised his hand and snapped his fingers. Waiter, 2 cups of cappuccino, 1 without sugar. Hey, look, is that person Sweetheart Mask? It seems so. Wow, my idol, I want to ask him for an autograph. The girls around Uchiha Madara were whispering something about Sweet Mask. Sweetheart Mask? That hero, S, at the top of the A rank? Driven by curiosity, Uchiha Madara turned around, but just happened to meet the Sweetheart Mask behind him. This child. Sweetheart Mask frowned deeply. It seems to be the one specially recruited by the Hero S Association? Sweetheart Mask suddenly remembered that he seemed to have seen his surprise yesterday. Immediately, Sweetheart Mask shook his head with a look of disdain. For a guy like him, I can only come and play at home. What's wrong? The woman beside Sweetheart Mask looked suspiciously along Sweetheart Mask's line of sight, and at a glance she saw Uchiha Madara who was burying her head in the cake. It's nothing, it's just a trash fish. Asterisk chapter 059. The wolf monster in the supermarket. Advertisement. Sweet Mask's voice was not loud, but it was definitely not small. At least Uchiha Madara heard what he said clearly. Obviously, Sweetheart Mask is targeting herself. Hey, let's see who is the trash fish. Uchiha Madara stopped eating the cake and took out a fork from the cutlery box. Whoosh! Ding! With the force of the wrist, the fork shot accurately on the table where Sweetheart Mask was sitting, and it was only about a centimeter away from his fingers. Ah! The woman beside Sweetheart Mask was frightened, jumped up from her seat and shouted loudly. I'm sorry, my hand slipped. Uchiha Madara apologized to Sweetheart Mask without the slightest sincerity, and continued eating the cake on her own. Seeing this, the woman beside Sweetheart Mask couldn't sit still. Hey, what are you doing, do you know? Okay. Sweetheart Mask raised a hand, and the woman had to shut her mouth when she saw this, and sat back in her seat obediently. It's not bad. This is a public place, and it's not easy for Sweetheart Mask to openly flirt with Uchiha Madara. After all, he is an idol. Thank you. Uchiha Madara drank the coffee in the cup and walked out of the coffee shop without looking back. Drip bell. As soon as he went out, the phone in Uchiha Madara's pocket rang. He didn't pay attention to who was calling, so he answered it directly. Where did you go? Snake's angry voice came from the phone. Didn't I tell you to go on patrol? I'm on patrol. Uchiha Madara said naturally. On the other end of the phone, Snake obviously paused for a long time before saying, do you know something happened? I don't know. Uchiha Madara scratched his ears. What happened? It's in City A, the area you're in charge of patrolling. On the other end of the phone, Snake had an expression of hatred for not turning iron into steel. What the hell have you been doing for so long? Various requests, drinking coffee at the coffee shop. Uchiha Madara still took it for granted, and shouldn't the instructor lead the team for patrols? Advertisement. I've just arrived here, and I'm not familiar with this place, so it's normal to get lost. Uchiha Madara said with confidence, but Snake couldn't refute it for a while. Okay, I'll send you a location, hurry up and we'll meet there. Snake didn't bother to talk nonsense with Uchiha Madara. Anyway, he's only here for a week, and then he will go back to his own home to find his own mother, who don't know anyone. The location was quickly sent to Uchiha Madara's mobile phone, and the location marked was an ordinary supermarket in City A. And it's a bit far from here. Let's take a look. Uchiha Madara glanced sideways at Sweetheart Mask, and then the figure disappeared instantly. Disappeared? The shock in Sweetheart Mask's eyes flashed. After all, as an A-level Hero S. I have seen a lot of the world. What disappeared? The woman sitting face to face with Sweetheart Fake turned her head suspiciously, but saw nothing. Soon, Uchiha Madara came to the location marked on the location. The scene was a mess. There were many gray hairs on the ground that looked like beasts, and the air was filled with a stench. The things on the shelves were crooked, most of them were violently torn apart, and snacks and various daily necessities were scattered all over the place. Anyone there? Bang! As soon as Uchiha Madara finished speaking, he was greeted by a refrigerator full of ice cream. Seeing this, Uchiha Madara squeezed his right fist, condensed chakra, and then punched out. Boom! The refrigerator was blown into countless pieces, and the ice cream was scattered all over the place, with a faint smell of milk. Various requests, whoosh, human, you are not bad. A wolf monster with a height of about 3 meters, the upper body of a wolf and the lower body of a human jumped out of the supermarket and landed heavily in front of Uchiha Madara. Advertisement in a corner not far from the supermarket, Snake, who had just arrived at his destination, stuck out half of his head and carefully observed the situation on Uchiha Madara's side. It's over. Seeing the monster's huge figure, Snake's face changed. This time it's a lot of fun. Even though he is an A-rank hero, his combat power is really unbearable to look at. Even some powerful B-rank hero, can easily beat him. Would you like to call reinforcements? Snake thought for a while, then kept shaking his head. No, it's too late. Drops of cold sweat dripped on his forehead, and finally he gritted his teeth and rushed out. Stop, kid. Kindness? Kindness? Hearing Snake's voice, Uchiha Madara and the werewolf turned to look at the source of the sound at the same time. Another one delivered. The monster licked his lips, his eyes full of longing. Today was great. Ho! Bah! Snake concentrated all his strength on his right fist, and then hit the wolf monster fiercely. After a muffled sound, it didn't seem to be of any use. Ah! The wolf monster stretched out his claws and gently rubbed the spot where Snake hit him just now. Are you tickling me? Isn't it? Although his heart was full of fear, Snake subconsciously kept Uchiha Madara behind him. This is his duty as hero, and he will never forget it. Is that Snake? It's really him. We are saved. Hero, come on. Some residents who were hiding inside the supermarket and were not caught by the wolf monster stretched out their heads and kept cheering for Snake. There are still so many? The wolf monster's eyes lit up, and the stench of saliva kept dripping on the ground. I will eat him first, then I will eat you. Asterisk. Chapter 060. Sonic the Sonic advertisement. Boy, listen to me. Snake tightly guarded Uchiha Madara behind him and stepped back slightly without leaving a trace. You find a place to hide, leave it to me here. Leave it to you? Uchiha Madara tilted her head slightly with a look of contempt. Can you do it alone? I'm an A-level hero, not as fragile as you think. How do you explain what happened at the noon practice ground? That was just an accident. I didn't take it seriously at all. Speaking of which, Snake began to feel guilty again. How dare you ignore me? The wolf monster licked his lips. Since you care so much about this little one, you should eat him first. Such a tender meat must be delicious. The wolf monster exerted strength under his feet and jumped into the sky. The ground cracked and the gravel splashed. Roar. The wolf monster roared up to the sky and was extremely excited because in his eyes, Uchiha Madara was already his meal. Not good. Snake's pupils shrank suddenly, and he wanted to shoot, but it was too late. He could only watch the wolf monster getting closer and closer to Uchiha Madara. It's over. He's the first intern I brought. If I knew this earlier, I shouldn't have let him come here. The speed is too slow. Uchiha Madara's eyes were like water, without a trace of waves. You dare to make waves? You'll be stubborn when you're about to die, so be my food. The wolf monster stretched out his claws with a hideous look on his face. I said it. The corner of Uchiha Madara's mouth rose slightly, and he raised his head slowly. Your speed is too slow. Puff. Uchiha Madara did not know when to peer in front of the wolf monster, and his right hand directly penetrated his heart. The wolf monster was stunned for a few seconds before he felt the sharp pain in his chest. He was short of breath and looked incredulous. How is it possible? How did you do it? The wolf monster's blood splashed on Uchiha Madara's face, making Uchiha Madara look murderous, and even Snake didn't respond for a while. Advertisement, various requests, hey. Uchiha Madara pulled out his right hand, and the wolf monster's body fell to the ground weakly. After a few twitches, he stopped moving. Hey, who is he? I don't know, I haven't seen it before. Could it be Hero? Impossible, I haven't seen him on the website. The crisis has been lifted, and the fear in everyone's heart has also dissipated. They walked out of the supermarket one by one, looking at Uchiha Madara from a distance, always keeping a certain distance from him. After all, the appearance of Uchiha Madara now looks a little scary. Snake was stunned in place. A monster with such strength and quick reaction was actually killed by Uchiha Madara? Am I dreaming? Who the hell is this guy? The sun hung obliquely to the west, only a small corner was exposed, and the space gradually darkened, indicating that night was coming. I'll go back first. Uchiha Madara wiped the blood from his face and frowned slightly. By the way, can the Heroes Association provide weapons? Huh? Snake was still in shock and didn't react for a while. Help me get some of this. Uchiha Madara took out the small book that was handed to Yaoyorozu Momo at the sports festival, tore off one of the pages, and gave it to Snake. Snake came back to his senses, and Samuna took the note from Uchiha Madara's hand and glanced at it. This is, Kanai? Kindness. Are you a ninja? Advertisement. Uchiha Madara waved to Snake, then turned around. Give me more preparations for this, as well as scrolls. You should be able to provide them too, right? I'll go back and ask. Snake, who had seen Uchiha Madara's strength, didn't plan to embarrass him anymore. After all, he is a monster who can instantly kill a freak. Various requests. By the time Uchiha Madara finished eating out and returned to the apartment, it was already midnight. The weird thing is Uchiha Madara's hands on Snake. After all, he's not interested in writing reports or anything like that. But, on the empty street, Uchiha Madara's eyes narrowed. After so long, is it time to come out? Hey kid. Uchiha Madara had just walked to the door of the apartment when a mysterious voice suddenly came from all directions. You said you were a ninja earlier? Is something wrong? Uchiha Madara stopped. The corners of his mouth rose slightly, and his eyes instantly turned scarlet. You don't seem surprised at all. You've been following me since the supermarket. Uchiha Madara raised his head, and in Sharingan's state, he saw where the other party was at a glance. Right in front of him on the big tree. Did you come down by yourself, or did I beat you down? He knows where I am. The figure above the tree frowned, and Uchiha Madara's eyes had clearly told him that he did know where he was. Since that's the case, the mysterious figure jumped with force under his feet and came to Uchiha Madara, barely making a sound. Camouflage was painted under the eyes of the visitor, just like a ninja style, with a whip on his head and a ninja costume. Introduce myself, I'm the strongest ninja, Sonic the Sonic, asterisk. Chapter 061. Fire Style Advertisement. Hey, the strongest ninja, Uchiha Madara showed a disdainful smile. You deserve to be called a ninja. Just because of your three-legged cat skills? What did you say? When someone said that, Sonic's face was a little ugly, but he quickly returned to normal. Since everyone is a ninja, how about we learn from each other? Sonic pulled out the samurai sword behind his back, his face full of fighting intent. Of course. Uchiha Madara stood up straight, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. I hope you don't disappoint me. In terms of choosing the battlefield, the two unexpectedly reached an agreement, the suburban woods. Boy, where are you from? Sonic stood opposite Uchiha Madara, a little curious. Since he is a ninja, he should be born in the country of ninjas, but why? It seems that he has never seen him in the country of ninjas. Zhongguo. Zhongguo. The word is quite unfamiliar to Sonic. Where is Zhongguo? Is it also the country of ninjas? No, Uchiha Madara stretched. Let's start quickly, I'm a little sleepy, so I'll end it early. So arrogant. Sonic showed a weird smile. I finally met a ninja, how could it end so early? Whoosh. As soon as Sonic finished speaking, he suddenly rushed out. Profound truth, 4 shadows burial. Sonic's body turned into 4 afterimages, flashing back and forth beside Uchiha Madara. Accompanied by these 4 afterimages, there is also a cold glow that can only be emitted by a samurai sword. However, in Uchiha Madara's eyes, Sonic's figure is extraordinarily clear. He can even see through Sonic's real body at a glance. It's quite fast, but a light blue light flashed under Uchiha Madara's feet, and his body burst out. It's still too slow. Boom, advertisement. Various requests, the ground seemed to tremble, and the ground where Uchiha Madara was standing was completely sunken. Sonic didn't have time to react for a while, and was shaken out by the aftermath of the shaking. So much strength. Sonic's eyes were filled with excitement. Then how hard is your body? Whoosh. Sonic rushed forward again, leaving trails of afterimages in the air. Ding. 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 The figures of the two flickered back and forth in the grove, and they kept colliding, making a crisp sound. The leaves fell, and scratches appeared on the bark, but in just a few seconds, it was already a mess. Whoosh. Uchiha Madara secretly condensed chakra, and instantly came behind Sonic. Her hands quickly formed seals, and afterimages flashed. Z ugly shu wu shen hai yin. Fire style, the fire is gone. Boom. The flames of hell covered the forest almost in the blink of an eye, and Sonic, who was moving at high speed, had his eyes wide open, and hurriedly tried his best to dodge. However, he still suffered fairly severe burns. This small forest on the outskirts of the city was devoured by huge flames, and the sound of sirens could be heard faintly around. It must be the fire alarm. Go back first. Uchiha Madara yawned and the figure disappeared again. Various requests, advertisement, drip bell. Early the next morning, Uchiha Madara's phone rang again, and he glanced sleepily at the screen. It was Snake calling. Hello? Uchiha Madara lay on the bed, her eyes half squinted. There's something wrong in the woods east of City A. Hurry up and take a look. Snake's voice sounded a little serious. The Hero's Association suspects that it was a weirdo. Okay, I see. Uchiha Madara hung up the phone and lay in bed for a long time without getting up. Waking up early is really hard, and it's only 6 o'clock, isn't it? Is that guy Snake having nothing to do when he is full? Uchiha Madara sighed, and a carp jumped up from the bed. Hero's, I will never be. After arriving at the grove that Snake mentioned, Uchiha Madara felt more and more familiar. The lush groves had long since disappeared, replaced by a large black charcoal. Isn't this where you fought Sonic last night? Wow, how could this place be destroyed like this? Not far away, Saitama put his fingers together and put his brows together. It seems that the strength of the opponent should not be underestimated, teacher. Genos, who followed closely, said with a serious face. Saitama nodded, and at the moment when he turned his head, he saw the figure of Uchiha Madara, Allah, the little brother I met at the ramen restaurant that day. Huh? Hearing this slightly familiar voice, Uchiha Madara also turned his head and met Saitama's eyes. Why are you here? Saitama strode up to Uchiha Madara. You look like a hero, right? No teacher, he is indeed hero, he's just an intern. Genos stepped up to Saitama's side and explained. I saw him in the security system during the meeting yesterday. Unexpected. Secret system. This time it was Uchiha Madara's turn to wonder, why is my information in the secret system? Isn't it public? I don't know, it is estimated that the Hero's Association does not want the residents to know of your existence. Genos guessed casually. I didn't expect that there are people in this world who are worse than me. Saitama bent down and gave a smirk. Your level should be lower than mine, right? Asterisk. Chapter 062. An ordinary day advertisement PS. It seems. I accidentally lost a chapter, Various requests. A staff member walked forward slowly and stopped in front of Saitama and Uchiha Madara. Excuse me, are you sent by the Hero S Association? Ah, yes. Saitama nodded his head like a rattle, rather funny. The staff member scratched his hair and whispered with a puzzled look, why'd I feel so naive? The staff's muttering could not be hidden from Gino's ears. He strode in front of the staff. Because of his absolute height, Gino's looked full of momentum. The teacher has just registered as a Hero S. It's normal that you haven't seen it. Ah, you're not the one. The staff looked at Gino's familiar face, thought for a while, and finally remembered where they had seen it. Are you that new S-Class Hero S? The staff grabbed Gino's hand. I didn't expect an S-Class Hero S to come. Uchiha Madara and Saitama were instantly left out, standing on the ground expressionlessly looking at the staff who were in estrus. Looking at Gino's back, Saitama suddenly remembered something important. Oh, by the way, I forgot to introduce myself. But it's okay, we'll get to know each other slowly. Saitama laughed like a big silly man, making Uchiha Madara feel quite speechless. By the way, what's your name? I remember you're my fan. Saitama touched the head of his light bulb. You don't seem to have said it? My name is Uchiha Madara. Let's talk about the specific situation. Not far ahead, Gino's clenched his right fist, covered his mouth, and said sternly. Advertisement, Yes, the staff responded, a little embarrassed. Please come with me. Various requests, the staff led the way, while Gino's obediently walked beside Saitama. A strong burnt smell wafts in the air, and the further you go, the stronger the smell. By the way, have you found out who made this place like this? Saitama kept looking around, his eyes full of freshness. He doesn't seem to have seen a freak with fire. The staff member scratched his hair embarrassedly. We haven't found out yet. I see. Saitama nodded stupidly. Then as long as we find it, our mission is complete, right? No, the staff blinked. Isn't your mission to assist in the investigation and then draw up an investigation report? The staff was puzzled. Did the Hero S not understand their mission? I heard that the C-rank Hero S was sent this time to fight monsters, so let's forget it. Investigation report. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara became uneasy. Who asked to write it? The staff was stunned again. It's okay if one doesn't know. Why don't both of them know? I came here for an internship, not here to write a report. Uchiha Madara turned and left. By the way, the person who made this ghost look like this is called Sonic. Sonic? Who? Saitama blinked. Hearing this, Gino's rushed forward and blocked Uchiha Madara's way. Do you know what happened here? I just passed by when I got off work last night. Uchiha Madara said nonsense. Advertisement. Just passing by after get off work. It always feels suspicious. Gino's looked solemn, as if he was ready to fight with Uchiha Madara at any time. So, it's been hard work. Saitama stepped forward and nodded. If that's the case, let's go back to rest early today. Well, there is no life reaction around, and it doesn't look like there are weird people. Hearing Saitama's words, Gino's nodded. Then let's go back, teacher. Hey. Looking at the backs of the three walking side by side, the staff felt a little confused. How do you say go away? It's too simple, isn't it? How's your work? Various requests. Hey Uchiha-san, it's noon. How about we go to eat together? Saitama seemed to suddenly think of something on the way and looked excited. Speaking of eating, Uchiha Madara subconsciously touched his belly. I happen to be hungry too. What do you want to eat? Saitama put a hand on Uchiha Madara's shoulder. Well, you are younger than me. My brother should let my brother, so I will listen to you. Mr. Saitama is so kind to the fans he just met. Could it be that this is one of the ways he became stronger? Gino's walked behind the two, bowing his head and thinking about something. Let's go eat ramen. Uchiha Madara smiled slightly. I know a family of ramen, and it's very delicious. Saitama nodded again and smiled. Ramen is also a good choice, right Gino's? Huh? Hearing Saitama calling himself, Gino's suddenly came back to his senses and nodded. Yes, Saitama-sensei. Then let's go. Saitama strode forward with a smile on his face. Today is also an ordinary day. Chapter 063. Going to Z City advertisement. Inside the ramen restaurant, Uchiha Madara, Saitama, and Gino sat together, gulping down ramen. Let me tell you, there was an event in a ramen shop in the past. As long as you finish a big bowl of ramen, there will be a prize of 50,000 yuan. Having said this, Saitama fell into the memory of a few days ago. It's a pity that I didn't finish it, but fortunately, Gino's finished. Gino's nodded, otherwise there would be no way to pay for the ramen. Peeved. Even if he knew something in advance, Uchiha Madara couldn't help laughing. Saitama, how poor are you? You can't even pay for a bowl of ramen. I just started working, and I won't be paid until next month. Saitama's serious look looked rather comical. I'll treat you today. You can eat whatever you want. You're welcome. Uchiha Madara smiled. Really? Saitama's eyes lit up after hearing this. Then I'll be welcome. Boss, have another bowl of seaweed ramen and a glass of juice. Okay. After lunch, Saitama and Gino's chose to go home, while Uchiha Madara continued to wander the streets. Soon, he and Snake met on the street. Snake, who had seen part of Uchiha Madara's strength, looked at him completely differently, and his attitude had also undergone a 180-degree change. Did you find anything? No, Uchiha Madara shook his head and continued to walk forward. Do you still have to patrol the surrounding area today? Well, your grade is not enough. Although the overall assessment is good, you are only a student after all, so the Heroes Association will not let you participate in major events. Various requests, advertisement. So that's why I'm here to hang out. Uchiha Madara put his hands behind his head, and his feet continued to slow down. Not all, didn't you solve 2 weirdos before? Hearing this, Uchiha Madara gave Snake a sideways glance, but did not speak. Let's go, I'll take you on patrol today and get off work at 5 o'clock. 2 days later. In fact, according to the internship schedule given by Shangin Academy, today is the official first day of the internship. Nothing major happened the day before yesterday and yesterday. Uchiha Madara and Snake were equivalent to a free parade in City A. And starting today, Snake will be transferred to City F and will no longer be patrolling with Uchiha Madara. As for what Uchiha Madara asked the Heroes Association to do, the Heroes Association had already handed it over to him by Snake. The phone given by the Heroes Association, Uchiha Madara also took the time to study it carefully, and he found that the phone was actually connected directly to the Heroes Association's real-time report library. Of course, he couldn't get into the encrypted report library. There are weird people haunting the Z City, and 2 powerful A-level heroes have gone to investigate. Early in the morning, Uchiha Madara lay in bed and flipped through the report for a long time, and finally saw a more interesting news. City A is too close to the headquarters of the Heroes Association. If you think about it, nothing big will happen. Why don't you go to City Z to see? Uchiha Madara sat up, and after a simple wash, his hands were sealed. Shadow clone technique. Bang! After a puff of white smoke dissipated, a shadow clone that looked exactly like Uchiha Madara appeared on the spot. I'll leave it to you here. After Uchiha Madara finished speaking, he turned into a shadow and rushed out of the apartment in an instant. Advertisement, hey, we're going to patrol again. Shadow clone sighed, reluctantly walked out of the door of the apartment, and continued to wander the street. Various requests. City Z is still a certain distance from City A, but at the speed of Uchiha Madara, he arrived here in just half an hour. Compared with the prosperity of City A, City Z looks a little dilapidated, and even many places have been abandoned and uninhabited due to serious damage. In order not to cause unnecessary trouble, Uchiha Madara especially used the transformation technique, and turned herself into the appearance of Hokage Senju Hashirama, the first generation of Konoha, in her 30s, with some evil taste. It should be here. Uchiha Madara came to a deserted alley and stopped here. This time, the Heroes Association sent Golden Ball, the 29th in the A level, and Springbeard, the 33rd in the A level, to investigate. And the place mentioned in the report should be near here. But this place is in ruins. How low does the IQ of the weirdo have to be to come here? But I remember, it seems to be Saitama's home, right? Uchiha Madara walked, observing the surrounding situation. Huh? Not far away, a weirdo with a kelp raised his head and sniffed the air. It seems to smell like a human? Over there. Infinity Kelp jumped to the telephone pole with excitement, and followed the smell, approaching Uchiha Madara step by step. Huh? The unusual vibration in the air caught Uchiha Madara's attention. He looked up at the source of the sound, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Found it. I heard that this is the gathering place of powerful monsters, but it seems that I have been deceived. The Infinite Kelp jumped gently and came to stand in front of Uchiha Madara. Infinity Kelp tilted his head and looked at Uchiha Madara carefully, but your breath seems to be very good. Hey, have you seen a very powerful monster? Asterisk. Chapter 064. The Kelp Monster Advertisement, Powerful Weirdo. Uchiha Madara shook his head slightly. I haven't seen it before. That's really boring. Infinity Kelp stared at Uchiha Madara for a while. You look good, why don't we start with you first? As soon as the Infinite Kelp finished speaking, countless dark green kelp stretched out on his head, pointing directly at Uchiha Madara's neck. Infinity Kelp is clearly trying to kill Uchiha Madara. Flick away. Base. Before Uchiha Madara could make a move, the 2 figures rushed forward, and after a flash of cold light flashed, the kelp was all cut off. Blonde hair, a lollipop in his mouth, and a hip-hop outfit. A level 29th hero, Golden Ball. Wearing a tuxedo, with a 2-segmented beard in the middle, he is quite gentlemanly, and holds a fencing sword in his hand. Class A 33rd hero, Spring Beard. He cut off the kelp just now. I didn't expect that there would still be residents in the deserted place. Springbeard kept Uchiha Madara behind him, and said without looking back, get out of here. Hurry up and get out of here, don't look back, we will protect you. Golden Ball and Springbeard stood side by side, blocking Uchiha Madara's body. While speaking, Golden Ball took out a slingshot from his pocket and aimed a golden bead at the Infinite Kelp. My shape memory bullet, gold, can penetrate even a 20-centimeter thick iron plate, eat me a piece, hit. You go quickly. Bang. The Golden Ball released his right hand, and the golden beads turned into a streamer and flew towards the Infinite Kelp quickly. On the way, the shape of the golden bead changed like a machine, like a small cannonball, and even the speed increased a lot. Various requests, advertisement, snapped. Boom. The kelp brushed over the golden beads, the orbit of the golden beads shifted, hit the house next to them, and a small explosion occurred. You guys are too weak. Infinite Kelp exerted a little force under his feet and came to Uchiha Madara almost instantly. I'm looking for him. While speaking, the two kelp on the head of the infinite kelp lifted up and hit the golden ball and the spring beard hard on the chest. Boom. Boom. The two figures flew to both sides and smashed into the building, leaving two giant human-shaped pits, and finally fell to the ground weakly, with blood spilling from the corners of their mouths. I can feel that your breath is much stronger than the two of them. The whites of Infinite Kelp's eyes were full of red blood, and he smiled a little weirdly. Whoosh. Whoosh. Two kelp shoots from the top of the Infinite Kelp, and there are many dense barbs on the edge. Just looking at it makes people feel scalp numb. The corners of Uchiha Madara's mouth twitched slightly, her eyes instantly turned scarlet, and she grabbed the two seaweeds. Exactly, I'm also here to have fun. Infinity Kelp didn't expect Uchiha Madara's skills to be so agile, and his excitement was even greater. Whoosh! Uchiha Madara aimed at Infinite Kelp's eyes, exerting force on his wrist, and threw out an iron kunai. At the same time, Uchiha Madara's hands quickly nodded. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. Whoosh! Kunai is 1 part 2, 2 parts 4, but in the blink of an eye, the surroundings have been covered by kunai. What kind of kung fu is this? The kelp on the head of the Infinite Kelp stretched out, protecting him firmly in the center. Advertisement, various requests, ding. 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 A burst of crisp sounds echoed around. Although the Infinite Kelp is just a kelp, his defense is not bad at all. However, he seemed to have forgotten one thing. When defending, always be careful of villains' sneak attacks. Uchiha Madara came to the back of Infinity Kelp at some point, and his right hand was surrounded by light blue chakra. Boom. Uchiha Madara punched Infinite Kelp's chest with a punch, and Infinite Kelp's body sank deeply on the ground because of this huge force. One hit kill. Cough cough. The Golden Ball and the Spring Beard, who were killed by the Infinite Kelp, were finally gasping for breath at this moment. Are you? Golden Ball and Springbeard stared blankly at Uchiha Madara. With such a powerful attack, they should not be unknown. I'm just here to have fun. Uchiha Madara turned around and waved to the two of them. Since the matter is settled, I'll go first. Wait a minute. Springbeard stepped up in a hurry. If it weren't for the Golden Ball to support him, I'm afraid he would have fallen a dog and eaten shit. Uchiha Madara stopped and looked at the two suspiciously. This matter has been resolved. What are they going to do? Springbeard straightened his breath, stood up straight, and asked, "Excuse me, are you from the Heroes Association?" No, Uchiha Madara answered very succinctly, and left very succinctly, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Chapter 065, Unfinished Duel? Advertisement. 3 hours later, City A, the headquarters of the Heroes Association. Just now, Golden Ball and Springbeard have told the people at the headquarters exactly what happened. According to the investigation results of City Z, nothing special happened in the prosperous and residential areas. This time we had contact with ferocious and vicious monsters in the No Man's Street. The weirdo was successfully defeated, but it wasn't made by the Golden Ball and the Spring Beard. A congressman on the side reported the investigation results to everyone. What do you think? Several congressmen sat around and watched the surveillance video on the big screen. On the surveillance video, a young man with long black hair killed the weirdo who couldn't even beat the Golden Ball and the Spring Beard with one punch, which shows his great strength. A congressman sitting at the back opened the information in his hand. It is powerful, but there is no such person. Black household. The leader of the congressman put his hands on his chin. How to solve it? Can you give me your opinion? Can't I solve it? The congressman's voice just fell, and a petite girl with green curly hair and a glowing body floated strangely above the crowd. The congressman felt a headache when they saw her, but even if you were beaten like this, Miss Tornado, we won't be able to handle it. On the big screen in front, the giant pit on the ground of the uninhabited street in Z City was released in coordination. HMPH, it's definitely more than enough. Tornado put his hands on his hips and pouted, and his destructive power is not that great. But Miss Tornado. The congressman forced a smile. We still don't know anything about him. I'll try to find out his strength. Dragon Roll waved his hand. Various requests, except for the Infinite Kelp in Z City. There are no other powerful monsters haunting. So, after wandering the streets for a while, Uchiha Madara went straight to the direction of City A. Of course, after entering City A, Uchiha Madara found a place that the surveillance cameras could not capture, and lifted the transformation technique and shadow clone technique. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There were fewer people on the street. The temperature was relatively high, and the tired Uchiha Madara found a very luxurious-looking cafe and went straight in. 6 p.m. Advertisement, finally found you. Just as Uchiha Madara was about to fall asleep, a familiar voice suddenly came from behind him. Huh? Uchiha Madara woke up and turned to look. Camouflage was painted under the eyes of the visitor, just like a ninja style, with a whip on his head, dressed in ninja costumes, and many parts of his body were covered with white bandages. Sonic. Uchiha Madara looked him up and down. You're lucky you didn't die. You. Sonic choked on Uchiha Madara's words, then pulled out the katana from his waist. There's an unfinished duel between us. What? Run. Because of Sonic's action of drawing a knife, many customers in the store were startled and fled out in a panic. Okay. The corners of Uchiha Madara's mouth twitched slightly, and she stood up from her seat. It just so happened that my hands were itchy too. Hey, guests, you. The boss hiding under the counter was surprised when the two seemed to be preparing to fight. There's a lot of value in it. What if it's broken? Who pays? To shut up. Ding. Sonic threw out a pitch black kunai with his right hand, and set it right next to the boss's ear. My god. The boss was not very old, so he was so frightened by Sonic that he broke out in a cold sweat and suddenly fainted. Various requests, no one bothers us now. Sonic showed a weird smile, let's start. Whoosh. Bah. With a cold blow, Kunai rubbed Uchiha Madara's cheek and flew over, smashing a vase behind him. Advertisement, wow. The boss, who was hiding under the counter, lay down on the ground, his whole body trembling slightly. It seems that your injury is not completely healed, and the accuracy of the head is more than a star and a half. Uchiha Madara shook his right hand, and a metal kunai appeared in his right hand. Today I'll show you, what is the real kunai throwing technique. Uchiha Madara's eyes narrowed and he threw out his right hand. Whoosh! Kunai wiped Sonic's cheek, leaving a conspicuous streak of blood on it. So fast, Sonic's pupils shrank suddenly, and instinctively jumped back, but at the same time, another kunai was rapidly approaching him. Puff, 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 ding, ding, ding. The cold light flickered in the cafe, and every time Uchiha Madara threw a kunai, it left a scratch on Sonic's body, and then accurately set it on the wooden board behind. Sonic's reflexes are not as good as Uchiha Madara, and he is injured now, and his speed is not as good as before. 50 sticks of suffering went down, and Sonic's body was covered with dense wounds, overlapping with the original burns, making it even more painful. Impossible, 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 impossible. Sonic reluctantly straightened up, his body trembling slightly. Look behind you. Uchiha Madara interrupted, pursing his lips. What? Although he was puzzled, Sonic still looked over instinctively. On the wooden board at the rear, metal kunai are lined up one by one, forming the Japanese characters of Uchiha Madara. This. Sonic controlled his facial expression very well, but he couldn't hide the shock in his eyes. He was clearly dodging everywhere. Why was Kuwu still able to return to this area, and it was still arranged in such a neat and orderly manner? And it even wrote the 4 characters, Uchiha Madara, on the wooden board, asterisk. Chapter 066. This is what you asked for advertisement. Uchiha Madara played with the kunai in his hand, and showed a playful smile, take a good look at the wound on your body. Huh? Sonic heard the words and looked down involuntarily. All the wounds on his body are in the shape of a cross. This. Sonic slowly raised his head and looked at Uchiha Madara in shock. It's not that he can't do this kind of thing, but the difficulty factor is relatively high, and the chance of success is not high. Sonic was really surprised that such an infinitely close to perfection could appear on a teenage child. This is simply incredible. Could this kid be a monster? Under the counter, the owner of the coffee shop has a hopeless expression on his face. The value of Byongguang porcelain here is close to 100 million yen, and some of the decorations are antiques worth tens of millions of yen. Who the hell are you? Just as the coffee shop owner was about to get up, Sonic said again. Why haven't I seen you in ninja country? Sonic's face became solemn, and his right hand never left the katana. Who said ninjas have to be born in a country of shit ninjas? Didn't I tell you that I'm from China? Uchiha Madara suddenly pushed his right foot forward, grabbed Sonic by the neck, and pressed him against the wall. Boom. Puff. With a loud bang, Uchiha Madara and Sonic smashed through the thick wall directly. Sonic even vomited blood, with a painful expression on his face. The soul of the coffee shop owner is almost gone. You're still far from being the strongest ninja, so go home and practice. Uchiha Madara said, and threw Sonic on the ground like a piece of junk. Advertisement. After finally meeting a ninja, Uchiha Madara didn't want to let him pick up the lunch so early. The moment he fell, Sonic, who was covered in blood, met the coffee shop owner who was shaking slightly. At this point, the coffee shop owner, who suffered from halo, rolled his eyes and fainted gloriously. ... Various requests. That's right there, in that cafe, someone is fighting and holding a knife. Great, the Vest Tiger is here, we are saved. Uchiha Madara had just stepped out of the cafe when he was stopped by a tall man in a yellow tiger-striped jacket. Children? The height of the tiger in the vest overwhelmed nearly 4 heads of Uchiha Madara, and the two of them stood together, looking a little weird. The Vest Tiger is like a giant, powerful enough to overwhelm Uchiha Madara. Is it you who made trouble? On the way over, the tiger in the vest wanted to give an impassioned speech, but it was a little boy who never thought of it, and he was suddenly disappointed. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara silently pointed to Sonic, who was lying in a pool of blood and twitched slightly. While the tiger in the vest looked up and looked forward, he also saw the katana that was lying sideways in the cafe, flashing with cold light. Looking at the samurai sword that fell from the cafe, the tiger in the vest was puzzled for a while. Whose is that sword? And what happened to this guy? The tiger in the vest pointed at Sonic, while looking at Uchiha Madara with a strong question in his tone. Probably because of the superiority of being an adult. Moreover, here, citizens are not allowed to be equipped with knives at will. I don't know. Uchiha Madara shook his head, past the tiger in the vest, and walked straight ahead. Although he is a child, he is also a suspicious person. Tiger in the vest walked in front of Uchiha Madara with 3 steps and 2 steps, blocking his way. Come with me. Advertisement. Uchiha Madara was already very unhappy with the tone of the vest tiger's questioning, but now he is better and ordered directly. Take a trip. Where to go? Although Uchiha Madara looked calm on the surface, there was already a murderous intent in his eyes. Although it is not easy to do it on the bright side, it is still possible in the dark. Various requests. Of course I'm going to the police station. The vest tiger said as a matter of course, even if you didn't do it, you're an important witness. What if I don't want to go? Hey, this is your duty as a citizen of City A. Didn't your teacher teach you? I'm from abroad. Uchiha Madara once again bypassed the tiger in the vest. Does foreigners not need to fulfill the obligations of your country? Foreigners. The vest tiger blinked and stopped Uchiha Madara again. Which country are you from? Don't you look like a foreigner? Have you had enough? Uchiha Madara's eyes turned scarlet. I'll say it one last time. I'm not obligated to go to the police station with you. At this moment, the coffee shop owner woke up at the right time and saw the tall tiger in the vest in front of him. He seemed to have seen a savior, and tears filled his eyes. Hero, S. It's this kid. The cafe owner was still a little shivering. He made my cafe look like this. What did you do? The tiger in the vest looked at Uchiha Madara's small body, and then at the wall that was smashed through, feeling bad. If it's true as the cafe owner said, then this kid, 80% is a freak. Or some weird superpower. However, this is a great opportunity for him to increase his popularity. The tiger in the vest lit up. Such a perfect opportunity, he must not let it go. I'm arresting you now in the name of harming public property, follow me. Tiger in the vest put his hands on his hips, as if showing his muscular muscles to Uchiha Madara. That's enough. Uchiha Madara's eyes narrowed. You brought it on yourself. Boom. Chapter 077. Murder with a knife advertisement. Uchiha Madara didn't go far after stunned both the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest. So after discovering the vest tiger and vest black hole, the surrounding construction workers immediately found Uchiha Madara. After all, it is the hero, S, closest to them. After arriving at the ruins where he fought with the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest, Uchiha Madara saw the two people who were still in a coma at a glance. The wound on the neck of the black hole in the vest has scabbed over, so there is no more bleeding. I don't know what happened, they were already like this when I got here, explained the 35-year-old construction worker. The black hole in the vest is bleeding a lot, will they be okay? Don't worry, it's alright. Uchiha Madara showed a smile. You go to work first, just leave it to me here. You must save them, my sister is a fan of the vest tiger. Well. 39 The smile on Uchiha Madara's face disappeared as the skinny construction worker walked 580 miles away. He took out his phone and checked the time, 2:30 at noon. Advertisement. This is the highest temperature of the day, and the vest tiger and vest black hole have chapped lips and are already in a state of dehydration. Hey, wake up. Uchiha Madara crouched down and gave the black hole of the vest 2 big slaps. The black hole in the vest woke up, feeling a burning pain on his face. Is it dawn? Having just experienced Tsukuyomi's world, the vest black hole can be said to be trapped to the limit now. Just give him a bed and he can fall asleep within 5 seconds. Get up to work. Uchiha Madara stood up. Do you want to be seen by the public for your slack? It's not good for your reputation. Seeing the familiar face of Uchiha Madara, the black hole in the vest instantly remembered what happened before, got up instantly, and looked excited. It's not you. The moment he saw Uchiha Madara's eyes turn scarlet, the words of the black hole in the vest came to an abrupt end. Want to do it again? 35 Hearing this, the black hole in the vest shook like a rattle, and kept stepping back. What do you want? Why don't you do it? Uchiha Madara walked forward without looking back. Don't be idle. Call the tiger in the vest, and go to work quickly. Advertisement, huh. Although I don't understand what Uchiha Madara is going to do, this is the best result for the black hole in the vest. Time to go back and kill you. Uchiha Madara walked all the way to the previous place, and bumped into the skinny construction worker just now. Then, are the vest tigers alright? It's okay, they have returned to work. Uchiha Madara smiled slightly. You have worked hard too. Boom. As soon as Uchiha Madara finished speaking, the ground suddenly shook without any warning, followed by bottomless pits. The magnitude of this shaking is probably comparable to a magnitude 6 earthquake. What's the situation? Whack. Looking at the bottomless pit on the ground, everyone retreated and handed over the stage to Uchiha Madara. Some of the older staff saw Uchiha Madara's young age and wanted to stop him, but they didn't say anything because they thought that the other party was a hero, anyway. AFDG, back all, Chapter 077, Murder with a Knife. Advertisement. Uchiha Madara didn't go far after stunned both the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest. So after discovering the vest tiger and vest black hole, the surrounding construction workers immediately found Uchiha Madara. After all, it is the hero, closest to them. After arriving at the ruins where he fought with the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest, Uchiha Madara saw the two people who were still in a coma at a glance. The wound on the neck of the black hole in the vest has scabbed over, so there is no more bleeding. I don't know what happened, they were already like this when I got here, explained the 35-year-old construction worker. The black hole in the vest is bleeding a lot, will they be okay? Don't worry, it's alright. Uchiha Madara showed a smile. You go to work first, just leave it to me here. You must save them, my sister is a fan of the vest tiger. Well. 39 The smile on Uchiha Madara's face disappeared as the skinny construction worker walked 580 miles away. He took out his phone and checked the time, 2:30 at noon. This is the highest temperature of the day, and the vest tiger and vest black hole have chapped lips and are already in a state of dehydration. Hey, wake up. Uchiha Madara crouched down and gave the black hole of the vest 2 big slaps. The black hole in the vest woke up, feeling a burning pain on his face. Is it dawn? Having just experienced Tsukuyomi's world, the vest black hole can be said to be trapped to the limit now. Just give him a bed and he can fall asleep within 5 seconds. Get up to work. Uchiha Madara stood up. Do you want to be seen by the public for your slack? It's not good for your reputation. Seeing the familiar face of Uchiha Madara, the black hole in the vest instantly remembered what happened before, got up instantly, and looked excited. Advertisement. It's not you. The moment he saw Uchiha Madara's eyes turn scarlet, the words of the black hole in the vest came to an abrupt end. Want to do it again? 35. Hearing this, the black hole in the vest shook like a rattle, and kept stepping back. What do you want? Why don't you do it? Uchiha Madara walked forward without looking back. Don't be idle. Call the tiger in the vest, and go to work quickly. Huh? Although I don't understand what Uchiha Madara is going to do, this is the best result for the black hole in the vest. Time to go back and kill you. Uchiha Madara walked all the way to the previous place, and bumped into the skinny construction worker just now. Then, are the vest tigers alright? It's okay, they have returned to work. Uchiha Madara smiled slightly. You have worked hard too. Boom. As soon as Uchiha Madara finished speaking, the ground suddenly shook without any warning, followed by bottomless pits. The magnitude of this shaking is probably comparable to a magnitude 6 earthquake. What's the situation? Whack. Looking at the bottomless pit on the ground, everyone retreated and handed over the stage to Uchiha Madara. Some of the older staff saw Uchiha Madara's young age and wanted to stop him, but they didn't say anything because they thought that the other party was a hero, anyway. AFDG, back all. The two brothers, the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest, jumped out of nowhere, and their burly bodies were particularly eye-catching. Various requests. It's the vest tiger and the vest black hole. Great, don't be afraid now. Since the two were facing away from everyone at the moment, no one except Uchiha Madara noticed that their faces were not very good. Advertisement. Boom. Boom. 35. Boom. 55. One after another, black shadows jumped out of the dark hole and came to the ground. At a glance, there were probably at least hundreds of them. They are brown all over their body, their eyes are flashing red, their bodies are not too big, but their muscles are well proportioned and they look very powerful. A strange man with purple light all over his body stepped forward and shouted loudly, "It's time to return the earth to us." Hearing this, other weirdos followed him and walked forward, shouting some inexplicable and incomprehensible words. Underground people. Uchiha Madara recognized them at a glance, but for some reason, they seemed to be much stronger than the original. Only, borrowing a knife to kill may be a good choice. The corners of Uchiha Madara's mouth rose slightly, and he stepped back without leaving a trace, leaving the stage entirely to the two brothers, the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest. Since they want to get ahead, let them go. Uchiha Madara is not a professional hero, nor does he have a so-called hero, license, and the information is kept in the confidential system of the Hero Association. If it weren't for Golden Ball and Springbeard leading the team, I am afraid that no one present would regard Uchiha Madara as Hero So, no one will notice his presence. The number of people seems to be a bit large. Seeing the weird people from the ground crawling out one by one, the black hole in the vest couldn't help but want to retreat. Where's that kid? Tiger in the vest looked back while taking advantage of the gap, but didn't see Uchiha Madara at all. Bah, what kind of hero, is the B***********D who escaped from the battle? The tiger in the vest was stunned for a moment, and then he couldn't help but spat fiercely on the ground with a look of contempt. The Hero Association shouldn't hire any bullshit interns. The black hole in the vest glanced at the tiger in the vest next to him. How about it, can it hold up? No problem. Tiger in the vest touched the tip of his nose, then took out his phone. I'll call for support now. Seeing this, Uchiha Madara, who was hiding in the dark, shook his head, and a small stone appeared in his hand at some point. I can't let you call reinforcements. Call, Chapter 078, the vest brother died. Advertisement, call. The small stone smashed the phone of the tiger's vest, and left a hole on his index finger. Who? The tiger in the vest couldn't help shouting in pain. And his call was taken for granted by the underground weirdo as a provocation. So in the next second, the underground monsters swarmed up, but in the blink of an eye, they drowned the vest tiger and the vest black hole. Boom. 99. Boom. Boom. 35. The two brothers, the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest, leaned against each other to protect each other. The movement here is really big, and it is estimated that it will not be long before the surrounding hero will gather. 580. Uchiha Madara frowned slightly, her eyes turned scarlet, and three black hooked jades slowly rotated. In the front, the weirdo who met Uchiha Madara's eyes, completely changed his body and glove, and was simply a veteran special force from the special forces. The two brothers, the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest, naturally found the clue, but they didn't know whether it was man-made or the original power of the eccentric. The tiger in the vest gritted his teeth. Damn it, it's not the way to go on like this. The longer it takes, the better. The black hole in the vest looked solemn, and the wounds on his body gradually increased. Seeing that the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest were gradually at a disadvantage, the residents and staff who were watching the battle began to panic. Some timid ones have even taken their families to hide from this place of right and wrong. Taking advantage of this moment, the corners of Uchiha Madara's mouth, who was in the dark, were slightly curved, and at the same time, his hands were sealed. Wood style, 4-pillar prison, puff, puff. In the chaos, 4 wooden pillars protruded from the ground without warning, penetrating the chests of the vest tiger and the vest black hole. Advertisement. The next second, under the control of Uchiha Madara, the 4 pillars retracted without warning, as if they had never existed. Various requests, the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest clutched at their chests, gasping for breath, and for a while they forgot the existence of underground monsters around them. Taking advantage of the two unprepared, Uchiha Madara's eyes swirled with three hooks. Puff. Puff. The subterranean monster took a few steps forward, claws piercing their chests. At close range, the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest finally know who is responsible for all this. Because at this moment, they clearly saw that there were three black guyu in the red eyes of these underground monsters. And such eyes, they have only seen in Uchiha Madara. Yuji. Before the tiger in the vest could finish speaking, he was smashed to the ground by the geek in the ground, holding his head with one hand. 95 brains splattered, blood flowed, and the smell of blood gradually spread out. The black hole in the vest on the side also had the same fate, and it even looked worse than the tiger in the vest. It's over, it's over. The residents on the side kept stepping back, looking at the underground geek who was covered with blood and brains, and their eyes were full of fear. What about the other hero, S? Where did they go? I don't know, they seem to be the two of them around here. 66. 99 I have to say that Uchiha Madara's presence is really low, at least until now, no one has mentioned him. Ahead, a dumbfounded lightbulb head with a bag of cabbage blinked, his eyes swept across the underground weirdo in front of him. Then, he saw the tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest lying in a pool of blood. Advertisement Saitama's eyes changed instantly when he saw these underground monsters. Various requests, hey zero. Saitama's right hand loosened, and he threw the cabbage to the ground. He looked at the underground weirdos in front of him, his eyes narrowed slightly. Do you know what you are doing? Saitama. Uchiha Madara didn't expect Saitama to appear this time, but that's fine, just play it. Ahead, under the control of Uchiha Madara, the underground monsters lined up in a row, bowing slightly, ready to go. Saitama also bowed slightly, then stepped forward with his right foot and rushed forward instantly. Boom. Because of the huge force, the ground sank directly, the gravel splashed, and waves of white lime swayed. Boom. Boom. 39. Boom. Although the underground monsters under the control of Uchiha Madara were able to respond in time, Saitama itself was a bug. Coupled with the reasons for his physical fitness, even if these underground weirdos reacted, they might not be able to beat him. Saitama is still the same as before, punching one at a time, but in the blink of an eye, they are all eliminated without leaving one. After everything was done, Saitama shook his hand and returned to his 3.6 stupid appearance, obviously not very strong. How could this be? 35. While speaking, Saitama walked slowly towards the direction of the two men in the vest, the tiger and the black hole in the vest. After coming to the two of them, Saitama squatted down halfway and probed their breath. His face turned ashen. Not because of anything else, just because at this moment, the two men in the vest tiger and the black hole in the vest are completely dead. 66. 99 Saitama stood up and squeezed his fists involuntarily. He took a deep breath, turned around slowly, and faced the few residents around him. His face was no longer the stupid look on his face. Excuse me, do you know what happened here just now? Chapter 079. Madara's goal advertisement. After everything was over, the hero, S, scattered around City Z arrived late and looked nervous. What's the matter, what happened? Golden Ball and Spring Beard, headed by them, stepped forward and asked the surrounding residents about the situation here. The next second, they saw the two men in the vest, the tiger and the black hole in the vest, lying in a pool of blood. Varied. The tiger in the vest and the black hole in the vest are in a terrible state of death, their heads have been deformed, their brains have all collapsed, and there are still many large holes in the chest that are still bleeding. Therefore, even the two of them, who are a level hero, S, couldn't help but be taken aback. Who did this? Spring Beard was the first to encounter such a situation, and couldn't help but get nervous. It shouldn't be a good thing to be able to beat them like this. It must be some very powerful monster. Golden Ball, Springbeard, and a bunch of hero, S, are ready to fight at any time. That. Always ignored. Saitama raised a hand, they were killed by these guys. 5. Kindness? Hearing this voice, the hero, S, turned their heads and finally found Saitama's 05. You are. Golden Ball frowned and thought, the man in front of him looked familiar, but he just couldn't remember where he had seen him. It's me. Seeing that the other party didn't seem to recognize him, Saitama gestured with both hands in the air. Second C-rank hero, S, Saitama. Second place in C-class. Golden Ball looked up and down. Saitama, I remembered, you're the new hero, S, right? I remember being the last in C-class at the beginning. Yes, it's me. Saitama nodded, pointing to the pile of corpses of the underground weirdo behind him. It's these weirdos who killed them. The Golden Ball and the hero, S, looked in the direction of Saitama's finger, and were immediately shocked by the mountain of corpses in front of them. This. So many? Spring Beard looked solemn. No wonder the vest tiger and vest black hole will lose. 35. Various requests, but why are there so many weird people suddenly? Golden Ball looked at Saitama in confusion. You know what? I don't know, I just passed by accident and solved them by the way. Advertisement? By the way? Golden Ball caught the point of Saitama's words. You killed these weirdos? So much, just kidding. And looking so strong, how could it be possible to take them out with just one person? Besides, he's only a C-level hero, S. 66. 99 Regarding such doubts, Saitama said that he was used to it. It was these two hero, S, who consumed the geek's physical strength, and I was able to defeat them. So that's the case. Golden Ball nodded with a sad expression. Send back the Vest Tiger and the Vest Black Hole first. Kindness. Only then did Golden Ball discover an important thing. By the way, where did the intern go? The intern? That kid with black hair and black eyes? One of the heroes in the crowd said. Golden Ball nodded. This guy is an intern from abroad, and he must not be lost. Otherwise, the heroes association is responsible. I didn't see him either. I remember him as if he was acting alone. Hey, what a troublesome kid. Springbeard stroked his forehead helplessly. Everyone should work first, and if you find him, take him with you, don't lose it. Clear. Okay. No problem. Is the intern kid you're talking about called Uchiha Madara? Saitama, who had been obscured by the side, suddenly interjected. As far as he knows, there seems to be only one intern hired by the heroes association. Well, do you know him? Golden Ball turned around and nodded. Yes, we ate together. That's right, you can also help find it. We can't lose this guy. Advertisement, learn. Various requests. During the time when everyone was patrolling and searching for Uchiha Madara, Golden Ball and Springbeard had reported the Vest Tiger and Vest Black Hole to the headquarters. As the eldest brother of the two, Venerable Vest knew the news of the tragic death of his younger brother right away. He rushed to the branch of the heroes association in his city without stopping, but the cause of death he got was a monster attack. Although he was unwilling, the content of the report was very detailed and there was a lot of evidence, so he had to believe it. At 6:30 in the afternoon, the sun slanted westward, and today's farce had a rough conclusion. It was only then that Saitama found Uchiha Madara asleep under a big tree. Leaving AWOL, this is not the style of heroes. Saitama crouched down and patted Uchiha Madara's cheek lightly. Moses, get up, the sun is drying your A*35. Huh? Uchiha Madara opened one eye and took a long time to focus. Saitama? How long have you slept here? Saitama put his hands on his hips with a strange expression. You won't sleep here all afternoon, will you? It didn't take that long. Uchiha Madara raised his hand and stretched out. It's just a few hours. There are only 24 hours in a day, and there are still about 10 hours excluding the time for sleeping, resting and eating. Saitama turned his fingers and counted them carefully for Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara waved his hands in a funny way, then stood up. Okay, so what are you serious about? Being a hero, shouldn't be so lazy, especially if you're still an intern. Saitama patted Uchiha Madara's chest lightly. So irresponsible, be careful to be expelled from the heroes association. Saitama laughed a little badly. By the way, Saitama, in the West, wouldn't being a hero be enough to kill bad guys or weirdos? Yeah. Saitama blinked and looked at Uchiha Madara strangely. Aren't you an intern? Don't you know? 35? I have a goal now. Uchiha Madara held out a finger and smiled. What? Saitama was a little confused. So, this conversation was going well, why did he suddenly talk about the target? When the internship is over, I'm going to get a Western Hero license. Chapter 080. Flocks of Crab Monsters Advertisement. In the early morning of the next day, the news of the Vest Tiger and Vest Black Hole being killed in an accident spread almost all over the West. Before they were alive, they paid most attention to fame, but they never thought that they would be known to the whole world after they died. As the eldest brother, Venerable Vest really wanted to stand up for his younger brother, but he had no reason to do so, so he had to give up temporarily. Today's task is the same as yesterday's, still patrolling in Z City to speed up the reconstruction and recovery of Z City. However, in order to prevent accidents from happening again, the heroes association has sent additional staff to Z City. Together with Uchiha Madara, there are now a total of 73 heroes roaming Z City. The 3 leading A-level heroes are Golden Ball, Springbeard and Lightning Mikes. Moreover, 10 B-level heroes, C-level heroes, 59. 1 intern. The mission is the same as yesterday. I won't go into details. There are 2 to 3 people in a team, each of whom has a fixed patrol area. Golden Ball took a step forward and said, if the speed is fast, it is expected that City Z will return to normal at noon today. Springbeard looked at the heroes and muttered to himself. I hope nothing happens. Lightning Mikes looked up at the sky. It seems like it's going to rain. Kindness. Hi, Madara, it's a coincidence that we meet again. After the dissolution, a man on a bicycle and wearing cycling equipment came to Uchiha Madara and said, want to come with me? You're here too. Uchiha Madara nodded at him as a greeting. I appreciate your kindness, but I'm used to being alone. The first hero, of the C rank, an undocumented knight, when the meteorite fell the day before yesterday, Uchiha Madara was fortunate enough to meet him. Advertisement. Meanwhile, the undocumented knight was also the first to call Uchiha Madara by the hero's name. All in all, Uchiha Madara has a pretty good impression of him. Various requests. Well, that's really a pity. Keep going, boy. After the undocumented rider finished, he did not force Uchiha Madara to form a team with him, but rode his bicycle and slowly left. The character is still good. Uchiha Madara nodded, then looked at the surrounding buildings, full of shock. In just one day, Z City has recovered most of it, which is a godlike speed. Is it off? The sky was overcast with clouds, and it seemed that it would rain at any moment. Seeing this, the construction workers had to speed up the progress in order to complete the project as soon as possible. The weather was already hot and dry, and the black clouds in the sky made this hot and dry gradually turn into sultry heat, making people breathless. Boom. Not far away, there was a sound similar to thunder, which was eye-catching. What's wrong? Many workers stopped what they were doing and looked at the source of the sound. It should be thunder. The worker on the side wiped the sweat on his forehead. Hurry up and work, don't be distracted, finish work early and finish work early, then let's relax. After the sound approached, everyone finally realized that something was wrong. It doesn't sound right, it doesn't sound like thunder, does it? Why does it feel like a whole bunch of animals are migrating this way? What is that? A worker stopped what he was doing, his eyes elongated, and he looked into the distance. It looks like a crab. The staff on the side also saw an unknown object approaching fast in the distance. The crabs migrate collectively. Is there any disaster coming? Advertisement, could it be a tsunami? No, Z-City is just about to be completed. That's not a crab. The figure of Uchiha Madara suddenly appeared in front of everyone, and his eyes had turned scarlet. Various requests, The construction workers in the lead stared at Uchiha Madara for a long time, and finally remembered, are you an intern who came with Golden Ball and the others? I remember he was there yesterday. 35, was he there yesterday? Why don't I remember? Backquote, and little brother, you said those are not crabs, what are they? It's a weirdo. Uchiha Madara squeezed his fist, conservatively estimate, there are 180. 180, and they're all weirdos? Hearing Uchiha Madara's words, the surrounding workers stepped back one after another, panic in their eyes. I didn't expect to have an accident at this juncture, it's really troublesome. I hope I can increase my salary and increase my popularity by the way. HMPH, I can finally perform well. Shin, 35 many professional hero, came to hear the news, but most of the C-level hero, were to increase their popularity in order to upgrade quickly. Only a small number of professional hero, are really for the safety of the residents. A tall, grim-faced, unknown C-level hero, took a step forward and looked at Uchiha. Li Qian's, Madara slantingly, little boy, step back, be careful to hurt you. This is not the place where the intern should stay, you should hurry to evacuate the crowd. An unknown B-level hero, stepped forward, if there is a fight later, I have no time to be distracted to protect you. 5. Okay. Uchiha Madara didn't refute the words of several people. He slowly retreated to the back, with his hands behind his head, as if he was ready to watch the show. While everyone was talking, groups of crab monsters had come to them. Each of them is tall, about 2 meters or so, and at first glance, it gives people a very powerful feeling. It doesn't seem to be very good. Looking at the dense crabs, the hero, suddenly felt a big head. The absolute advantage in numbers inevitably makes them a little less confident.